Manny left him after one season to come to Miami. Dan says he made Diaz a celebrity in his words.
Definitely helped as he climbed the ranks of the coaching profession.
Gators won the toss and deferred. Miami receives. So everybody around the nation watching. What a way to launch CFB season 150. And it'll be a touchback. So here he comes with the heart no doubt pounding, because the only experience Jaron Williams had last year was against Savannah State. Now he comes from Lawrenceville, Georgia, outside of Atlanta. Won the job because he can extend plays. He's a good athlete. He's gone to work in his body. He's leaned down, trained his mechanics, Kirk, but he's never faced anything like this Gator defense.
Well, there was so much made out of Tate Martell that I think people overlooked the talent of Jaron Williams. I mean, he's elite 11, highly touted coming out of high school, and this is what he's wanted to do, be able to lead a team and a brand like the Miami Hurricanes, and he gets his start to his career tonight.
It's KJ Osborne on the jet sweep. Gators string it out, and the man who's the graduate transfer from Buffalo, a very productive receiver, and already there's pushing and shoving along the sidelines over there.
Well, this is the big question mark up front. Zion Nelson is a true freshman. He's put on some weight to help him. They say he's a future superstar. He's the guy to watch on the left side. Also, John Campbell, another redshirt freshman right here out of Orlando. You see the skill players, Jeff Thomas and Harley, both have speed. And Brevin Jordan could be a matchup advantage for Miami if Williams is given time to throw.
DJ Dallas, a feature back for the first time. Motions out now on 2nd and 8. Empty backfield.
Ball coming out quick here.
Gators rush for it, does come out quickly, and it's complete with the tight end, Brevin Jordan. And he's got space and a crease and a first down across the 45. They really use their tight ends well in this offense.
Yeah, we just talked how he can be a matchup, really a receiver that plays tight end. Take a look at the Gators defense, and Zuniga is their leader up front, 92. He can make a lot of plays, and with the loss of some of the players from a year ago, he'll be more of a playmaker. David Reese, 33 in the middle, is really the quarterback of that front seven. Keep an eye on the back. I think Steiner, 13, big responsibilities with communication. Could have the best tandem of corners in all of college football, with Henderson on one side and Wilson on the other.
And it's play action. Williams under immediate pressure, flips it off to Dallas in the flat, and he's dropped at the line of scrimmage.
Trying to rotate. You mentioned the weather, the heat, the humidity. These players on both sides used to practicing in this, obviously, in this climate. Be very, very smart to see the defenses, especially rotating bodies early in this game. There's a good look at Jeremiah Moon coming into play as a backup, and you'll see that throughout this game.
It's your kind of weather, Coach.
Oh, I love this. I love this. I love when the dew point gets up around 70. It's my favorite.
You can practice in it, and they both do, but the intensity of the game makes it even tougher.
Yeah.
Yep. 2nd and 10. Williams, another quick throw. Osborne gets a block on the edge, and now gets to the sideline, and will be inside the Florida 40 with a first down. Got a block from Harley on the edge.
They're getting the ball out quick, and it's smart. We just talked about how Dan Enos would want to do that. Watch the block by Harley. Does a good job of being able to pick up Wilson right there. Now it's just one-on-one. One-on-one, who's a better player? And that time it's Osborne being able to get away from the defender, Trey Dean, and picking up that first down. There's a nice rhythm to this opening drive by Dan Enos. And remember, his redshirt freshman quarterback, Jaron Williams.
96 catches for Osborne's Buffalo career. Extremely hard worker, become a leader instantly in Coral Gables. It's another play action on first down. They'll flip it short, and they've got Jordan, the tight end, and he's got some space. Huge chunk plays for this Hurricane offense on the opening drive.
Well, play action is outstanding. It freezes the linebackers. Watch the linebacker play right here. Get a little confused, lose their eyes, and it opens up. Nobody picks up Jordan. And again, we talked about him being a matchup problem. It's pretty easy when the linebackers off of play action are out of position. And now you can see he has wide receiver speed playing out at tight end out of Bishop Gorman in Las Vegas.
5 plays, 4 for 4 for Williams. High percentage throws to begin his career as a starter. From the I formation, toss sweep. Dallas patiently picks his way, but he is met hard by Marco Wilson, the corner coming off a couple of ACLs, and there's Henderson, the other corner.
Well, he gave great effort there, and that's what DJ Dallas is going to bring. It looked like it might be a gain of 2, but he bounced off of that, continued to keep his legs moving, and ends up picking up 5 or 6 yards. So he got hit pretty hard. This is what, everybody's wondering who's that back going to be for Miami. He's not flashy. See how he doesn't give up on it, keeping his hand down, got an extra 5 yards there. And now you set up a much better second manageable and just staying on schedule for Jarren Williams.
Now, can they cash in the red zone? This was a problem for the Hurricanes offense in recent years when Mark Richt was calling the plays. Play action. Williams slipped as he sets up, and he will be dropped behind the line. Ventrell Miller from the linebacker position, but the loss of traction messed up the rhythm.
Yeah, and also by bringing the blitz, I think it's the first time, blitz off to his left, and the back, Dallas does a good job of locating it, but you can see his primary was taken. It's the first time in his drive he's in the pocket, and instead of getting the ball out quickly to that first look, he had to hold the ball because of good coverage downfield, and the offensive line, remember that young offensive line, not able to hold back the athletic Gator defense.
Crowd loud on 3rd and 12. Williams trying to buy time, flips it short. Jordan again, and he'll be tackled. Ball comes out late. It's a scrum. Hurricanes say they've retained possession, and they have, but they're short of the marker. Jordan active in his opening possession.
He is a pretty athlete, and that was a short pass, and yards after the catch. That ball did come out, but he fought to be able to pick it up. There's 3 or 4 Gators there. Right away, heads-up play by Brevin Jordan. That ball looked like it may have come out, but again, instead of just giving up on it, look at all those Gators jerseys. Brevin Jordan, he looks like actually a left elbow may have been down.
31-year field goal. Bubba Maxson, 2 kickers who were tremendous as freshmen, very accurate back for sophomore seasons. And there's a whistle before the kick.
I think they're going to stop and move that back. I thought that left elbow, Chris, it's maybe going to cost Miami a few yards.
The snap. Delay of game.
Oh, no.
Kicking team.
That'll cost him a few yards.
5-yard penalty. Replay 4th down.
You'll make it a 36-yard attempt. So Miami, 8 plays, moved the ball 61 yards, but it was the sack by Ventrell Miller that stalled the drive. Just know that red zone situations, you come away with 7 or 3 or nothing.
Yeah,
figures to decide the game tonight.
Yeah, what a drive, opening drive by Miami. 8 plays, 56 yards. The young quarterback looking for the most part in command. Definitely want to come away with some points.
Thanks to very reliable, missed just once inside 40 yards last year, and he slides it inside the right upright. So solid debut for Jarren Williams. His first series as a starter takes the Canes to 3 points. Felipe Franks and the Gators with their first possession coming up. Positive start. The sweltering conditions in Orlando as Miami takes the opening kickoff. Jarren Williams with some high percentage completions, spreading the ball around, and the Canes draw first blood as touchdown underdogs tonight. Maxa is one of 2 Bubbas with the same number in Miami, but you will not see Bubba Bolden, number 21, the safety transfer from USC, not quite cleared by the NCAA. They'd hoped to have him. They thought they would, but he's not going to be in the lineup tonight. Freddie Swain and the dangerous Kadarius Toney are back deep, and this will be Toney on the bounce at the goal line. He is dynamic in space, but really nowhere to run, and the Canes coverage team drops him at the 22-yard line. Here comes Felipe Franks. He was benched in November. When he got another chance, he surged down the stretch. 4 strong games. He's grown up a lot. Still not the most vocal leader, but he says he's getting better at tuning out all the static.
Yeah, he'll have to do that tonight because I'm sure Miami will be trying to talk to him and get him out of his game. The thing that I think most people saw was his willingness to use his feet late in the year seemed to get him confident, and I think it opened up other aspects of this Gators offense, including the running game and his ability to create. I think a lot of people are anxious to see after those 4 games, especially Florida State and Michigan, how he starts off this year.
Play action on 1st down, and Franks Goes the arm strength and loops it to the sidelines. It's incomplete. Tried to get the ball to Van Jefferson. His deep threat covered by Trajan Bandy. Talked about the Hurricanes offensive line. Only Buchanan really played meaningful snaps in the bowl victory over Michigan. There's some older guys, but they haven't been starters before. Plenty of skill. The top 7 receivers in this offense are back.
Yeah, and I think P. Ryan's a good back, a solid SEC back. He can do everything. Catch the ball in the backfield. He's a great blocker in pass protection. Runs hard between the tackles. Dropped some weight over the last year or two. He's much quicker.
He's got the ball on 2nd and 10 and kind of works his way up the middle for about 6. Miami's defense was the strength of the team last year. Expected to be again. Jonathan Garvin has been unblockable in camp. He expects to be in the backfield tonight.
And a new young name is Jonathan Ford, 96, to keep an eye on the inside. Of course, Bandy, who was just there in man-to-man coverage, and a newcomer, Urban Hall, a new safety. They have 3 new starters in that secondary. 26, you'll see him flash tonight.
Gators need 5 on this 3rd down. Gaines rush 4 against the empty backfield, and Franks has time, tries to scramble, now backpedals, eludes Garvin, but he just got a hand on the quarterback's shoe and stops him short of the marker. Here comes the punt team.
Yeah, one of the things that Miami wants to do is try to force Felipe Franks to his left. He has a tendency when he wants to scramble to go to his right because of the accuracy that way. He's not as comfortable to his left. They do a good job of flushing him that way, spying with the linebacker, and they get a 3 and out on the first series against the Gators.
Here's the line to make. Cam will feature that all season long as Franks comes into your living room. And you saw Garvin, just enough speed and reach to make that play. Tommy Townsend takes off on the fake. Can he get there? Yes, and the punter makes a huge early gamble by Dan Mullen pay off. He did that last year.
How about the speed by the punter? I mean, he got around the corner and started to pull away. Gutsy call, you're right, Chris, by Dan Mullen. Sensing maybe needs a little bit of energy here early in this game, and he picks up that first down, goes for it deep in his own territory, and catches the Canes off guard.
Wow. Early gamble after the 3 and out.
Townsend's got some wheels, man. He was going.
It's his hometown. Senior right here in Orlando. Got plenty of friends and family looking in, and he makes a big play. So the Gators set up at the 34. Tony gets a block, and he's a blazer. A dynamic guy. They'll use him all different roles. He's still going. Kadarius Toney. They won't catch him. Touchdown, Gators.
Well, when you have an aggressive defense, offenses can take advantage of that, especially early in the game when there are a lot of emotions that are running through a defense. These linebackers, they're veteran, but they're flying with play action. They got out of position, and they gave Tony a lot of space, and those linemen who are pulling out in front of him, a lot of space for him to work and run.
66 yards. And the Mullen gamble pays off with the electric follow-up touchdown. They thought they had him hemmed in, but Tony escaped and then turned on the Jets, and he doesn't lose foot races. Dan Mullen in a gambling move, and it pays off for Florida, 7-3.
Winter green, fresh skin, baby got a spray tan, circled up truck, Silverado headlights.
Miami football is a lot of fun.
He wants you to know that his team in the Alliance League won the championship. The Orlando Apollos right here in this town.
Hell yeah.
Canceled the season, but they were crowned champions. And leaving it right there is Jeff Thomas.
Go back to this touchdown. Tony actually is hidden. He's over here, motions, ends up coming over here. I don't think Miami communicated that, but watch the linebacker play on the play action fake. Get out of position right there. Now it opens it up. Now you can get downfield. The other thing that's disturbing, week 1 missed tackle, 2 missed tackles, 3 missed tackles against a back like Tony. He's going to make you pay for that. So overly aggressive. Then the safeties downfield, not wrapping up, not making tackles, and you go from giving up a 15 or 20-yard gain to a touchdown.
Tony fast, but also deceptively physical. So Williams, second possession. He was 5 for 5 in the opening drive. And make it 6 for 6, although hammered right away as Marco Wilson, who's coming off his second ACL, is just driven to have a big season.
And yeah, absolutely. And this trend with Dan Enos and Jaron Williams continues. Ball out fast. Very surprised we've not seen Todd Grantham, the defensive coordinator from Florida, make the adjustment. Eventually it's going to come. They tighten up the coverage. They have two great corners. Take that cushion away and take those easy throws away. See, now they're a little tighter.
Play action on 2nd and 6. Immediately pressure. Williams escapes it. He'll be sacked for the second time down near the 15. Adam Schuler and John Grenard, the transfer from Louisville, got there.
Grenard is the guy who gets by. Remember, we have a true freshman at left tackle, Nelson, going up against a seasoned veteran. You see the get off there by Grenard? The freshman didn't have a chance. He really affected the play, and then the rest of the Gators defense comes in to clean it up.
Grenard back on the same field where when he played for Louisville last year in the opener, suffered a very serious wrist injury. Dislocated, ripped tendons, cost him the whole season. He said he's back here tonight to face his fears because he's thinking about that injury, but makes a play early.
You can see the intensity on his face. The get off at the line of scrimmage.
Gotta hurry. On 3rd and 16, play clock ran out for a second time.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Gives Mike Duffy a chance to flex the arms.
Yeah.
He does delay a game well. He's your guy.
Yeah, absolutely. We have, seems like we have him quite a bit. That's where the coaches have to help the young freshmen. These are first game things that are going to happen, not just in week 0 today, but next weekend. When you have a young quarterback, you know, that delay a game is something the coach has got to help from the sideline.
On 3rd and 22, they just hand the ball up the middle, and Dallas will try to stop the bleeding and improve the position for the punt. David Reese, linebacker, made the tackle. Ball came up, but it was well blown dead. So we're going to get a chance, Kirk, to see one of my Aussies. You know how much I love the Aussie punters, and Lou Headley, who leads the universe in tattoos. I ask him how many, but it's kind of all just one tattoo.
Yeah, that's one.
On the forearm is the favorite tattoo of him. It's a cow being abducted by an alien spaceship. You need say nothing else about the dude that he has that tattoo. He said he'll be nervous though. City
Really?
College of San Francisco, first game kicking at this level, and now they're going to spend a timeout. The clock is running down again.
Prior to the play clock expiring, Miami takes its first timeout.
Yeah, he's fired up because they are showing signs, you know, and you do everything you can. You know, your high school football, they have exhibition preseason games. NFL football, they've got preseason games. College football, they don't have preseason games. They have inter-squad scrimmages. You try to, all these coaches right now tonight are watching this. They're going to get to practice tomorrow, and they're going to talk about how important game management is and making sure that their veterans understand that. They'll probably do a little bit more time, work a little bit more time on that, because this has really hurt Miami, and something that Manny Diaz right now is pretty frustrated about.
He changed the format of scrimmages to give himself experience at game management as a head coach. There's some first game stuff coming into play. Freddie Swain is the Gators' deep return man, standing at the 35. First punt in the Hurricane career for Lou Headley coming up. And Western Australian drives it low, and it's returnable for Swain. But he is hemmed in, and the Canes coverage team does a good job dropping him at the 40-yard line. Franks and the Gators back to work, up 4.
Jordan and Felipe, every single thing that they did has made them persevere today because they practically grew up in a farm, guys.
That panhandle, Marie. Jordan's been a mentor for his younger brother. Now Tony, the touchdown scorer, gets the handoff on a sweep and spins and is knocked down hard, but got about 6 on first down.
Well, Felipe Franks, I think last year had to use some of that toughness, and he admitted that on a feature we had this morning on College Game Day. He was talking about how he needed to grow up and never really had faced adversity, and I think his roots really helped him, because when you get booed at your own stadium, that's a tough thing to deal with, and he just went back to work and got more determined and kind of fought back, and as I said, he finished playing his best football in those last 3 or 4 games.
Michael Pirine, who's stacked up. It's going to be 3rd and 4. He told me he deleted from his phone the apps for Twitter and Instagram because he's one of those guys, like so many players, would run to the phone to see what was being said about him, if it was good or bad.
Fights like you after the game.
No, sir, come on. Look in the mirror on that one, bro.
No, I run. I give it 4 days to cool off.
Cheap shot, Herb Street. 3rd and 3. It's a long 3.
On a tee, dude.
Haynes trying to heat up the pocket. He gets the ball out quickly, but being hit immediately. Right there by Trajan Bandy is Pirine. He got cut down. Bandy is slow to get up. It's 4th down.
He's the one veteran in this secondary. They showed, man, he comes off of it well and actually does a great job of taking Pirine just about a yard short of the 1st down. Glad to see him come off the field, and they get a stop. You know, ever since that fake punt, things felt a little bit different favoring Florida. You see Pirine also injured on that play. They're actually going for it.
They're going for it. Or at least appearing to need a yard from their end of the field.
Remember, the quarterback is a big man.
Yeah, Kadarius Toney is in the backfield. And they give it to the speedster. The Canes were ready for it, but pure speed gets the 1st down. They weren't fooled. They were just beaten to the edge.
And that's good against good, because that's Bandy, who's one of the top corners, in my opinion, in the conference, going up against the speed and the athletic ability of Toney, and he gets to the edge with that stiff arm and is able to get out there, because I think Bandy was anticipating that they're going to go to him in the backfield and run his way. He was in position, but give Toney all the credit making that play on 4th down.
So how about Mullenkirk? They fake it in their own end. Now they go for it in 4th and 1 from their own 49.
Take a shot after that.
Franks thought about it. Now will loop it downfield and over the head as a flag comes in. Looking for Freddie Swain.
Bentley, that's nickelback, kind of they call that like striker position. A lot of defense is going to that hybrid, kind of a safety and a linebacker. Got him matched up one-on-one.
You sensed it was about time to take that downfield shot.
Absolutely. Come up with a big 1st down like that. Why not take a shot?
Interference. Defense, number 30. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic. 1st down.
You know, and to give Dan Mullen credit for the formation, he gets Freddie Swain after the 4th down matched up against you know, Finley has speed, more straight line speed. He's not necessarily known for coverage ability, and that time they catch him on the 15 yards on the penalty.
#1 concern for Diaz and Blake Baker, who's the defensive coordinator, giving up those home run balls. Florida was effective at it last year. Damian Pierce still spelling Pirine in the backfield, lined up very deep. He's got it on the toss, bobbled it initially, and the Canes penetrate. Flying in there was Gilbert Frierson, striker position.
We have Frierson and Finley both play, and actually Frierson's known more for his coverage skills, a former corner. And you could see his quickness and how he's able to get by Lucas Kroll and get into that backfield and be able to take down the more physical Damian Pierce.
Redshirt freshman, local guy from Coral Gables. No shortage of speed on this Hurricane defense. They lose 3 on 1st down. 3 receivers to the right, and still Pierce to the left of the quarterback. And there was a false start on the left side of the offensive line. We'll see this, both sides. Stone Forsythe flagged and some jawing after the play.
Well, you see who's involved in it. The quarterback, along with Trayvon Hill, the Virginia Tech transfer.
Don't want your quarterback involved.
Oh, that's part of Miami's plan.
5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
You're going up against a very talented quarterback who kind of still maybe has rabbit ears. You want to test him, see if he can block you out. And if you can't, why not test him? Try to get him out of his game. Chirp at him a little bit.
Gators moving backwards, and it's 2nd and 18. Miami fans trying to make it tough. Say it's about 60-40 Florida in this building.
Yeah, it feels like it.
Play clock down to 2. Haynes just gets it off. Haynes bring the pressure. Franks escapes and will take off, and that's 240 pounds headed downhill. It's inside the 30 to set up third and reasonable.
Well, Miami was there. They brought the blitz. They got home. They were able to make the play. Everything except tackling. This is like trying to bring down Ben Roethlisberger. You know, when he's back there, it's not necessarily the quick twitch, but it's the size. And then when he gets his momentum going, 245 pounds with some speed. So Mom is fired up, and that's the part, again, of Franks' game that has gotten better. Second forever. Now, because of the scramble, now they've got a shot here on 3rd and 6.
Check this formation. Final minute of the first quarter. 4 receivers bunged to the left on 3rd down. Franks is looking that way, fires into traffic, and the catch is made right near the marker by Kyle Pitts, the tight end. Looks like they're going to spot him just a little bit short. But you don't feel like Mullen's going to hesitate in this situation on 4th down.
No, are you kidding me? He's going for it. He's already pointing. Is it a first down? If not, we're going for it. Went for it twice inside his own territory.
Figures to wait until the first play of the second quarter. So a fake punt run by Tommy Townsend back in his hometown sets up an electric 66-yard touchdown pass to Tony. And it's the Gators. Good to say, the clock has run out. There's no time on the clock. There's some confusion here. Mullen was confused.
That's the end of the first quarter.
That's what we thought, Mike. Now I'll continue my summary of the first quarter as the Gators turn a fake punt into a touchdown and lead it 7-3 after the first period in Orlando. And welcome back to the 2019 Camping World Kickoff, presented on ESPN by Hampton by Hilton. Beginning of the second quarter, a pretty significant play. Florida up 4 at the Miami 24 with a 4th and 1. They haven't made a 3rd down yet. 0 for 3, but 2 for 2 on 4th down if you include the fake punt scamper. Just need a yard, and there was no hesitation from Mullen.
Miami Hurricanes on the sideline trying to get their crowd fired up on this side. I think they sense the importance of these sequence of downs right now. Down 7-3, they cannot afford to get down 14-3, especially with a young quarterback and a young offensive line.
P. Ryan took the big shot earlier back in the game to the right of Franks. Quarterback keeper is an effective play in this situation, and Franks, although he slips, easily makes the first down. P. Ryan gave his quarterback a block on the edge.
And that's what I said. P. Ryan is just a complete back. It's great to see him back out there after going out. Appeared to be injured, comes out, does a nice block. By the way, he's blocking a physical linebacker in Shaq Quarterman. Takes him on and gives his quarterback enough room to get that first down.
Again, that bunch formation, 4 receivers to the left. But it's P. Ryan taking the handoff, bouncing off tackles, and that's been a problem for the Hurricanes defense in the early going. They can't get the Gators to the ground.
Yeah, it's been a big issue. This is a team that is known for their tackling over the years with Manny Diaz over the last 3 years as the defensive coordinator. And it goes back to the whole discussion about where football is today and how much tackling do you do in camp to allow you to be a good tackling team.
Little tempo, but this time they're ready for P. Ryan. They meet him behind the line, and Garvin wrestles him down after a short gain. It'll be 3rd down again.
You know, they keep going with these formations with the 4 receivers out. What they're basically doing is they're trying to make Miami's athletic, aggressive defense tip their hand. Are you going to commit numbers to the running game? Then we'll throw. Are you going to stay out and be worried about our ability to make a play in the pass? Then we'll run. They're making them kind of dictate which way they'll go, and then they go the opposite.
Canes show pressure and bring it on 3rd down. Franks gets it out quickly, and P. Ryan in the flat has a catch and a 1st and goal.
Find the matchup that they like, get the ball out in the flat. Quarterman just not quite able to get out there. 55, they just sneak him right out there in the flat. Got the defense overcommitted to the field where all the numbers were with the 3 wide receivers, and then there's nobody out in the flat to be able to pick up P. Ryan, and another 1st down.
1st and goal. And a fumbled exchange. Franks and P. Ryan were confused about who was going to keep it. The Canes say they have it, and coming out with it is Scott Patchen. Get out the turnover chain for the first time as the Gators spoil what was a promising drive.
The exchange there, Miami catches a break. They were able to come up with it. There's the chain, the new chain this year.
The 305 area code.
Yeah, everybody's excited this year. Watch the exchange. So Reed, you want it? Am I going to keep it? They don't know until the Reed Perine tries to take it. The quarterback, Franks, is trying to take it. Miscommunicate. Ball's on the ground. Patchen ends up coming up with it. There's another explosive hit there by a Miami defender.
Gators only had 14 turnovers all last year, but the Canes with the chain out take the football back.
Well, Miami catches a break with him being able to pounce on that fumble by the Gators. Now we'll see how Miami attacks deep in their own territory. If they're very conservative, now it looks like a penalty on the left side of the offensive line. The true freshman, Nelson.
Zion Nelson was an early enrollee in spring ball. He just took over the starting left tackle job. He said he put on 50 pounds.
False start. Offense, number 51. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Actually got DJ Scaife, the guard that time, but back to Nelson. And John Campbell's a redshirt freshman. He had to win a battle. They both beat out older players to earn the spot, but still very new to this.
Yeah, he actually moved, and what's happening right now is he's going up against Grinard, who's a veteran to transfer from Louisville, and he's starting to jump a little early to try to help himself.
Cameron Harris, sophomore from Opelika, spun down after a short gain by Zuniga.
That first drive, if you're just tuning in, Miami had the ball first, and Dan Enos and Jaron Williams were in sync. A lot of quick passing, getting the ball out of his hands, didn't really give the Gators much of a chance at all, getting that pass rush to the young quarterback, and it was very effective. They moved the ball, got the ball to the big tight end, Brevin Jordan. He was making people miss and picking up big chunks of yards, and since then, the Gators have tightened up their coverage and taken away some of those easy throws.
Second and 13 from his end zone. Williams is flushed and fires a dangerous throw across the middle. He was trying to get it to Jordan. That's the first incompletion of the night.
Yeah, he actually thrown it to hit a couple of his tight ends there. He had Will Mowry, 85, who I think he gets his hands on the ball, and then you see Jordan ends up being in the backside of where Will Mowry was. And those are kind of his security blankets, and I don't blame him. Those two tight ends, Jordan not quite as big as Mowry, who's at 6'5" with that catch radius, but now they're facing another 3rd and long, which is where all defensive coordinators really take advantage of that, but especially a guy like Todd Grantham, who can get pretty creative.
And another pre-snap flag.
Illegal substitution. 12 men broke the huddle for the offense. Half the distance to the goal. Replay 3rd down.
You do all the things in practice. You have the walkthroughs, and Manny Diaz and his team, a lot of mental mistakes in this first half on offense.
And again, Dan Enos knew coming in tonight that these were concerns. Like you said, you practice it in a practice field. You get out into a big stadium with a big crowd. Can't necessarily hear real well. Clock's ticking down. There's a lot of things that are happening, and that's where lack of execution sets in.
Another false start on the right side. You don't know whether it's a cadence issue with the inexperienced quarterback or purely on the offensive line, but they are getting closer to their own goal line.
Just to
false start. Offense, number 74. Half the distance to the goal. 3rd down.
It's real easy for us to sit up here and have all the answers, or people at home to say, man, what's going on here? You got a redshirt freshman quarterback who's never been in this environment, redshirt freshman at right tackle who's never been in this environment, a true freshman at left tackle, and a center making his first start. So there's a lot going on and a lot of inexperience with this Miami offense going up against a very talented, athletic Gator defense.
Now on 3rd and 17, ball inside the 2-yard line. You're, number one, trying to avoid a safety on this play and give your punter a little bit of room. And reset the clock here momentarily. And that's a Gator crowd down in the end zone, making things tough on the offense. And it's a handoff, and bouncing for a short gain is Cameron Harris, and the Canes, after the gift from the Gators and the fumble, will have to punt it right back.
Yeah, this Gator defense, it almost feels like with every possession getting more and more confident. Todd Grantham making adjustments after seeing how Dan Enos came out in that first possession. Right now has his defense dialed in, and of course some of the miscues by Miami obviously helping their cause.
Couple of sacks and 6 Miami penalties. Those are the miscues so far. Headley, the Aussie, a higher kick this time, and Freddie Swain has a chance from the 47. And darts forward for a return to the 40.
I didn't know the Aussie punters kicked them like that.
They can kick them. They call it spiral. We call it punting. Forward and back to work from the plus 40. Dale. Keen legends, Mr. Searcy.
Yeah.
Stogie going.
Yeah. Michael Irvin's down there.
He's concerned about what he sees from that Canes offensive line so far.
Keep putting his Canes defense in a tough spot.
Malik Davis, sophomore from Tampa, is the back as the Gators begin at the plus 40. And he's got the handoff, cuts it back into the middle, and fights hard for about 2 yards. Maria?
Chris, I got to tell you, Miami's defense was completely flustered to start this game. They were arguing about assignments and missed tackles. But, of course, as soon as the turnover chain comes out, the momentum completely shifts. I heard that they saw the chain this morning, literally leaving the hotel on the way to the game. And, of course, Scott Patchin gets it. Remember, returning from 2 ACL tears, changed his number to 71 to match his dad, who's won 2 national titles at Miami.
Yeah, it's changed every year, Maria, and they don't get a look at it ahead of time. Davis bobbles the snap. It's on the ground. They're fighting for it. It's a scrum still loose out near midfield, and I think the Gators got it back. Nick Buchanan, it was the center falling on it. Wow.
And the play, it looked to me again like a little bit of miscommunication. The execution didn't look like it was the best. Oh, they gave it to Miami.
Wait.
That was good view. The big center, Buchanan, was right there. He must have let the Miami defense rip it away from him.
Let's take a
See,
look
the
at the bottom of the
execution
pile
isn't
here.
the best, and he never had a handle on the ball. And you'll see the big center 66 looks like he has it. He's down, but look, no, he never quite had the ball, and the Miami players end up taking it away from him.
And the chain comes out again. That's Quarterman making his 40th start. That was a scrum where it looked like Buchanan had the ball in his belly.
What I'd love to ask Dave Katayo, our expert up here, is when Davis initially jumped on the ball, was he down right there? Or did he have possession long enough to be considered down before it even got to Buchanan in his pile? Because he got a hold of the ball, at least it looked like to me, but maybe Dave, it wasn't long enough.
The key is you've got to look at this in regular speed, number one. And did he have it long enough in regular speed? And it's close, but in my opinion, he does not have that.
They're not even going to take, looks like they may not even take a look at that.
He didn't have it long enough to possess it.
Okay.
Well, the turnover stands, the second fumble for the Gators tonight, and Miami gets another gift. And now it's DJ Dallas in Wildcat formation, takes off, breaks a tackle, and busts it in inside the 30. And it's the Canes' chance to reclaim momentum.
Yeah, a little wrinkle of their own, and a very, very natural runner in Dallas. How about Tate Martell, the quarterback? He goes in motion. They fake to him, and then they get a great double team there with the right guard and the right tackle, which opened it up. They were able to finally run the ball. We were at break, Chris, and I said, we're talking so much about Jaron Williams and the pass protection. Where's the running game of the Canes? That's really a Dan Eno's staple, is running the ball and going to play action. That time they're able to find some room finally to run.
Almost got 24 yards. And Williams takes off, flushed out of the pocket. Now tries to bounce it back to the right. That's a young guy, deer in headlights in heavy traffic, getting a couple.
Well, I think it's also Dan Eno's telling him, listen, with pass protection, you either find your receiver and go, make the throw, or take off. We don't have time to sit back there and evaluate things tonight. We got a lot of new linemen up here. We got a really athletic defense that's coming after us. You either make your initial read and get the ball out, or we got to rely on your athletic ability
But
to
you
take
go in a straight line. He was zigging and zagging. And
Yeah, I mean, at least he pulled it down and took off.
Got a yard after all that, 2nd and 9.
Running game could help with that pass protection.
Cameron Harris is the back. And Williams is going straight back. He flips it into flat, and this is Harris. He's a physical back, running over Ventrell Miller. Only gained a few yards, but that excites the Canes crowd.
Well, it not only excites the Canes crowd, you know, he gets a couple yards. That's right in front of the alumni, and you see what Miller took that hit. He's going to have to check out. But Chris, that's a play that can ignite the team, not just the crowd, because of this effort. You're struggling right now just to compete and battle, and one of your backs goes right through a linebacker. That can affect the rest of the team and fire them up.
You need 7. Not yet converted on 3rd down. 0 for 3.
Matchup at the bottom with a tight end, Jordan, against the All-American corner, C.J. Henderson.
Williams, immediate pressure, gets it out, throws a dart. He was looking for Jordan, incomplete. And Henderson, who's one of the best corners in the business, broke it up 4th down.
Yeah, but he had just enough separation with his size. I love the matchup. I mean, he's obviously athletic and gifted, but he put it where his big tight end would have a chance to use his body and kind of shield the corner away and make a play. He gets inside right there. Ball's there. He's got to make that catch, and it's a 1st down.
He said it's a field goal attempt. Maxa made good earlier from 36. And this is from 42. And he knocks it right through again. So Miami, off their second takeaway, converts it to a field goal and cuts the lead to 1. Conspiracy theorist.
I'm guessing you'll be there, my man.
That's my assignment Monday.
Wow, how'd you stumble into that one? Oh, man, I love it. I love tennis. I text you at 2 in the morning.
16 years on the sport, I guess.
I know. I'm kidding you. I know. You're the man.
You're coming out swinging here opening night.
No, I'm not. I do love tennis. I enjoy watching it.
I know you'll be with us. Backs it with his second successful field goal. Kicks it away short. And this is going to be very returnable. Freddie Swain, the slot receiver. Good job following his blocker. And that's a nice return out across the 30-yard line. Next Saturday night over on ABC. Looking forward to this one. Justin Herbert, that good Ducks offensive line, taking on the Auburn Tigers in that front in AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas, presented by Wells Fargo. 7:30 Eastern time, new start time.
Well, Justin Herbert, one of the top quarterbacks in the country. So much talk about Tua and Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields and Jalen Hurts. Do not forget about Justin Herbert. And, you know, we've been talking about young offensive linemen tonight for both sides. Chris, you touched on it. Oregon, a dominant offensive line against that Auburn dominant defensive line. How good will that matchup be?
Ducks playing for program and conference respect against the SEC. Gators play action on 1st down. Franks wants a downfield shot, but now he's chased and has to throw it underneath. It's Pirine with the outlet. They're fortunate to make that play and dodge the sack. Urban Hall in the safety blitz got close.
Yeah, and at the last minute there, Quarterman decided to be able to get pressure. He gives up on Pirine, says, I'm going to get in there and try to put pressure. By leaving Pirine, he left a check down. And now Franks had somewhere to go with the ball, so instead of negative yards and taking the sack, he ends up picking up some positive yards.
Franks, 5 of 6. 85 yards, a 66-yard touchdown to Tony is the highlight. Pirine dodges traffic in the backfield and falls through a couple. It'll be 3rd and 3.
Now, this Miami defense tonight is doing everything that they can. It's almost like they're on the ropes, right? They're battling, and those 2 turnovers, one deep in their own territory, has really given Miami some life and some belief. This is a program that's been through a lot in the last 12 months. A new head coach, you know, guys that have come in, guys that have left, and they need some positive things to happen early in this game to really buy in and believe that they can win this game. And this defense is giving them hope.
Tony motions in on 3rd and 3. Franks gets blitzed again, and a high pass knocked out of the hands. Bandy breaks up the pass, and the Canes defense continues to gain confidence and won't force a punt.
And this is, again, this is where the quarterback, Franks, has got to do a better job of recognizing man versus zone. He thinks it's man, and the Canes are sitting there in zone, and by doing that, Bandy right here is just sitting here and waiting for the back to come out. So he's not manned up with anybody. He's sensing that they're going to go to Pirine, so he times it up and makes a big hit. Very surprised that Franks would leave his back just out there, especially with the ball up high like that, with a dominant corner like Bandy waiting on him.
Tommy Townsend took off for a fake from the guy whose brother Johnny holds a bunch of Florida records. That's the kick away. And back cutting for a fair catch is Thomas at the 10-yard line. So the Canes get the football back once again in poor field position. Nice 50-yard boot by Townsend.
Back and having Manny Diaz Sr.'s son.
Thinks
He
outside
understands
the box.
it.
He really does.
He does. Intelligent guy.
Canes backed up again, running yet another play inside their own 10. Dallas from the I formation, looking for room and able to get about 3. Maria?
Well, Chris, while Manny's father is looking on, Manny Diaz has his eyes on his defense, and he was just ripping them down here on the sideline, saying basically, if we tackle, we win the game. That's it. Trying to continue to fire up that D, guys.
You know, Maria, it's interesting. When he became the head coach, I asked him, you're going to be calling the defense? And he said, no, I'm going to go with Blake Baker, who I hired as a defensive coordinator. So it's new for him. He's trying to manage the game, but he can't help himself in a game like this, of course, trying to fire that defense up.
Williams from the pocket delivers a short throw, and catch is made by Osborne, is right near the marker. I don't think he expected, in fact, I know he didn't expect tackling to be this kind of a problem in game one. He knew his defense was going to be challenged, Kirk. He thought they could tackle.
Right. But again, Chris, it's part of game one for every coach in America. Did you do enough? Did you do too much? And in today's game, with the concerns with injuries and things of that nature, most coaches will thud. There are very few that are actually really go after it and tackle. And so you get into week one and you start to see some poor tackling.
Once again, the Miami offensive line, a pre-snap miscue.
False start. Offense. Number 74. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It's a redshirt freshman. It's tough enough to face a salty Gator defensive front, complex scheme of Grantham. You got a young quarterback without this kind of self-inflicted wound.
Oh, look at that. 2 delay of games, 3 false starts, legal substitution.
Gators have 1 penalty for 5 yards. Miami was 7 in the first half. So 1st and 15. Quick throw to the edge. Thomas gets a block and shows some acceleration. He is very dangerous in the open field. The man who made 35 catches in his junior year.
If Miami Hurricanes are watching this game, they've been wondering, where has Thomas been tonight? He's their version of what Tony brings to the other side, to the Gators. Great block, by the way, by KJ Osborne, the leader in that room of the wide receivers. How about how he slows down, kind of a stutter step, the old Walter Payton kind of lazy leg, and goes right by some very talented Gator defensive players to pick up that first down.
He scored officially as a 16-yard run, backward pass, and now they fake it to Harris. Williams is swarmed and knocked down behind the line for the 3rd time. Trey Dean got there, and then Grenard cleaned it up.
Yeah, Dean, they bring him up. He shows he's going to come off to the right side of the offense, right lined up against the receiver. Harley's trying to kind of slow play it and then get out into the flat, but I think he underestimated how quickly Dean was going to be able to get in there and get to that quarterback, and he ended up, Williams had no chance with Dean's quickness to get to him. Bernard is having a night tonight, his first game in a Gator uniform.
Again, back on the field. He was injured a year ago as a Louisville Cardinal. 3rd sack of this Gator defense. Miami allowed a whole bunch of pressured dropbacks last year, 124 of them, when N'Kosi Perry and Rozier were the quarterbacks, and that has continued tonight with Williams as the starter. They spend a timeout. 2nd and 17 when you come back. Just fighting for survival. Looking forward to that one. So 2nd and 17. Cameron Harris is the back. And again, they get the ball out quickly to Harris in the flat. And he is going to be chased down very quickly. Ventrell Miller on the stop. It'll be 3rd and very long.
Well, he has great speed, getting sideline to sideline. Bernie is a starter in that spot. They call that the money linebacker, and the reason they call it the money linebacker is you got to make a lot of plays. You're freed up to be able to roam sideline to sideline. When you have speed the way Miller does, you make a lot of plays.
The money, the star, the buck. Grantham has got some names for the positions.
Yeah. Love how he's rotating guys in and out depending on the down and distance. Again, trying to stay fresh for that second half.
The last 3rd and very long, they just ran the ball, this time at play action, and Williams steps up and throws over the middle, and a first down to Thomas, who went down low, and that was a confident strike from the young quarterback.
That's what I was going to. Here's a guy that's had to deal with a lot of adversity in this pocket, whether it's penalties or pass rush or sacks. He steps right into the teeth of that pocket and goes over top of Houston, the linebacker, to find that window. You know it's coming. That crossing route at about 15 to 18 yards. The line, give him credit for giving him enough time, and he shows the courage to step in that pocket and make the throw. Great play by the young freshman, Williams.
He got 18 on 3rd and 15. That's his first real downfield difficult throw of the night. Dallas hit hard. Maria's getting a vantage point field level. The hits are there on night with tackling, execution not crisp, but the hitting is there.
Oh yeah, she's getting a great view of it down there. And Jeff Thomas finally starting to get involved. He's actually going to come out of the game. Looks like he might be limping a little bit, but Tate Martell now checks into the game, the quarterback who's been switched over to receiver. But it's great to see Thomas, who entered the transfer portal, almost left to go to Illinois, came back after Manny Diaz was hired.
Yeah, it's a story that we'll get into tonight. They think that Martell, who volunteered for this position change after getting beat out, can really help him. And you get a mismatch in the slot. Williams is looking the other direction. And now surveys, has space to run, and slides down in Florida territory. He begins the slide short of the marker, and that's where they'll spot him. It'll be 3rd and a yard at the 47.
I just love watching young freshman quarterbacks in this kind of setting just grow up right in front of you. Sits in the pocket, nobody open downfield, and this is what Miami coaches have been trying to tell us. Everybody talks about him where he doesn't have athletic ability or speed. He does have enough to get out of trouble. He gives them that 3rd down and 1, and they pick up the 1st down. Nice scramble.
Yeah, they quick snap it on the sneak, and they do move the chains. And you're seeing Williams, although he has been knocked down 3 times, beginning to settle in just a little bit.
The one thing that stands out to me is just poise. He sits there. He's not intimidated. He's not letting the game move too fast. He looks very well prepared. He's been dealing with a lot tonight with that young offensive line and with a very complex Gator defense, but he's not panicking at all in that pocket.
Minute and 20. And now it's the Gators spending a timeout on defense, but the Canes have had to spend a couple with the confusion here. And if you look at this game, I mean, Miami now has, with this drive, the edge in total yards. They've run 5 more plays. It has felt like most of the first half, Kirk, like the field is just tilted in Florida's favor, but far too generous. The 2 fumbles have been very, very costly, and Miami has a chance, if they get points, to actually lead at the break.
Yeah, you know, the turnovers have helped them. The defense has kept them in this game, and we said in the open, the defense can keep them in the game. But if they're going to win this game, Jaron Williams and this offense is going to have to make some plays, and it's kind of what we've seen unfold here in this first half. But you're right, the ball almost feels like it's been to our left most of the night, and yet here we are at a 1-point game with the Canes with the football across midfield.
Still 1 timeout to work with. Williams backpedaling, flushed again, holds the ball too long, and Ventrell Miller makes him pay. Knocked down back at the Miami 45.
Well, we talk about his poise and sitting in the pocket. That time just waiting a little bit too long. Linebacker blitzes up the middle. They brought the star, the nickel as well. Offensive line not able to take care of him that time, and instead of throwing it away and recognizing the pressure, he ends up taking a big sack.
Yeah, you take the sack, you give up the yardage, and you also spend your last timeout. So an inexperienced play, you can expect to see that. Williams, by the way, good buddies with Trevor Lawrence, the star of Clemson, national championship quarterback, both the same recruiting class, both from Georgia. And Jaron Toesby keeps in close touch with Trevor. Miami fans thinking, if we could just have maybe 1/3 the season this year that Lawrence had last year, they would take that.
I think there's a really good chance that Trevor and Jaron end up playing in Charlotte in December. I think that Miami and Clemson play in the ACC championship this year, no matter what happens tonight.
Well, coming up at halftime, Mercedes-Benz halftime report. Reese, Desmond, David Pollock here in Orlando, here in the stadium. We'll have that for you. In Miami, off the 4th sack allowed. Backed up 45, minute 14, and no more timeouts.
Oh, I love the look of Ventrell Miller, who keeps coming in and out. 51, the freshman, and he could become a dominant linebacker in the SEC for the Gators.
Gators rush forward to screen. Dallas goes up and makes a one-handed catch, and now takes off. DJ Dallas busting into the clear and knocked out at the 4-15. An explosive play that puts the Canes in position to go to halftime up
Well, great blocking downfield. Dan Eno's known for his screenplay. Watch the center, 65, get out in front. They pick up that block right there to allow Dallas, who didn't necessarily have a lot of momentum because he had to go back and make that one-handed catch, but the block right there on Bernie by the center, getting out in front, and then you can see what Dallas can do with his speed and his leg strength to be able to pull out of some of those arm tackles.
They missed 3 tackles on the play. So inside of a minute to go. Tight end Brevin Jordan lined up at the fullback position in front of Cameron Harris. They're trying to adjust the game clock, give Miami 5 additional seconds to 103. This has been a 75-yard march, 11 plays, almost 6 minutes. Try to take the lead after a first half where it feels like they've been outplayed. Play action. Williams has time, but is running out of it. A flag comes down, scrambling for his life. Looks like this is going to be a hold anyway. He shows why they gave him the job, because he has the elusiveness to extend plays better than Kosi Perry does. But it's going to be another Miami penalty.
At some point, you got to learn to cut bait, especially with this offensive line, and just kind of throw it away.
Offense number 74. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. We play first down.
Difficult opening half for the redshirt freshman John Campbell.
Yeah, John Campbell, Chris, whether it's been false starts or getting locked up there with a very talented Greenard, who's a great pass rusher. He's beaten both the tackles on the left and on the right with that outside move, just a quick get-off move where they are not quick enough to be able to get out there. It wouldn't surprise me. You start to use a back, use a tight end. Wherever 58 is, they're going to have to start chipping his direction.
First and 20 now. If he didn't hold, Greenard was going to have another sack. And now Florida will spend another defensive timeout. After taking a look at Miami's formation, I think both coaches, Mullen and Diaz, sensing the importance of these next couple plays in these final 52 seconds, because Diaz can tell his team, guys, we made a million mistakes. We look bad in a lot of areas, but we're holding our own and could very well have the lead at the break.
Yeah, right now, Todd Grantham is kind of like where Manny Diaz has been most of the first half, trying to rally the troops here as the ball moves deeper in their territory. And they've got him in a good spot with the penalty at 1st and 20. They're trying to keep him off the board. Still be aggressive, but not give up a big play.
Already well within field goal range for Bubba Baxa, who's made 2 for 2 so far. They're probably telling Williams, please do not take another sack, young fella.
No, he can't.
Clock in his head. He's got to run quicker. It was really a problem for both Hurricane quarterbacks last year. Dallas is the back. Williams tried to draw the Gators offside.
Here's the target, Jordan, the tight end.
Gators bring the pressure. Williams has time. Ball batted at the line and then caught. And Jordan bounces into the end zone for a go-ahead touchdown. And the freshman starter shushes the Gator crowd. Got a little lucky there, let's be honest.
Well, I thought he might go to Jordan because they hid him in line, as opposed to he's been flexed out like a receiver, detached most of the night. This time they moved him in to try to create a matchup against the linebacker. The linebacker ended up blitzing, and he gets matched up against an undersized safety, and Miami will take that matchup all night, and he gets the ball out quickly to give Jordan a chance.
What a drive, Kirk, for the Hurricanes. 90 yards, 12 plays, and 6:08 with the touchdown ring there. That's the offense's version of the turnover chain. If you told me that this Miami offense was going to drive 90 yards in this Florida defense tonight, I would have said no.
No. 12 plays, 90 yards. Quarterback grows up. Watch the tight end get the linebackers blitz. Now you just throw it. Uses the big body to protect the ball away from the safety, Jawan Taylor. Ball's tipped right there. Just not quite enough by Greenard. And Jordan takes it into the end zone. What focus there by Brevin Jordan.
So yeah, that's an inch from being a pass batted down. It's going to be 3rd and really long, and probably don't reach the end zone. And this is interesting. I didn't think that Jaron Williams would do that in his first game. He's a pretty humble guy.
Oh, yeah.
Quiet confidence, but he just charged right down there to the Florida crowd and gave him the shush.
A long way to go, too. But he had a drive. We look back at Jarrett Williams' career. If you talk about a drive, if he goes on to have an outstanding career, and hopefully he will, we're going to remember that drive before the half in Orlando against the Florida defense, because that big third down throw to Thomas just executed very, very well throughout that drive, and it comes up with a touchdown to Brevin Jordan.
It's a low kickoff, another touchback. You're right. The Thomas catch on 3rd and 15. Then the 40-yard play as Dallas turned a short drive into a long play. The Camping World drive recap.
This is where he shows you what he can do after the catch. But the throw downfield on 3rd and long, that's an incredible play on 3rd and 15. Set up the screen, and he's able to, this time he uses his feet to be able to pick up some more yards. Great block by the center. Shows you what Dallas can do. And Dallas has an ability to do so many different things, catching the ball to the backfield and then fall out quick, and then tight end Jordan for the touchdown.
Gators spent those 2 timeouts on defense. They have just 1 and 45 seconds to work with. Suddenly find themselves 6 points down. Franks has time, throws it underneath, and the catch is made by Josh Hammond, and the senior slot receiver, reliable target, no drops the entire season, as a first down.
You know, this is the difference between where you were maybe last year with Dan Mullen and a first-year starting quarterback in his system and Felipe Franks at the end of the half like this, and where he is this year. Second year in the system, 36 seconds, 1 timeout. They're thinking we've got to try to get in field goal range. They work on this, and this quarterback should be better prepared at Franks than where he was a year ago.
Van Jefferson, his main deep threat, is set off to the right in single coverage against Bandy. Franks was looking that way, now fires to Jefferson, and made an out cut, and there's a flag down in the pit. You saw that matchup right away.
Yeah.
Jefferson ended up not running a deep route.
Yeah, and John Garvin, who we haven't really called his name much tonight, but he came around the corner and he got held.
Number 72.
He did get a hand on Franks. He was trying to run for a first down earlier. Did make the 1 play, Garvin.
But I mean, rushing the quarterback is what he's really known for with his length. It's 6'4", about 256 pounds. Very long and athletic, and Forsythe has his hands full trying to deal with him.
Yeah, we knew both offensive lines would have their hands full tonight with the opposing front. And that's certainly been the case. So now 30 seconds. 1st and 20. We'll see what Mullen calls here. He's still in an aggressive mode. And they hand it off to Pirine, who can be dangerous on any carry, and he's knocked down out across the 40. Gators do have the 1 timeout, and they will spend it here with 22 seconds to go. Xfinity Skycam giving you a beautiful look tonight. Check out alternative angle Xfinity Skycam coverage of tonight's game, streaming live on ESPN3, on the ESPN app, and on Xfinity X1. What do you do here, Coach? Back down to get no timeouts now. Do you take a shot with Jefferson deep?
No. I'm thinking, first of all, you either got to get out of bounds or get to the first down, get to the sticks to stop the clock. But I'm thinking at least 3 plays, get into field goal range. You got to be smart with the ball because you don't have the timeouts, so you got to clock it or you got to get out of bounds. But I'm thinking, no, you're not going downfield. You're getting first downs and still thinking about trying to get 10 to 15-yard chunks to get into field goal range.
You can't really get tackled in the field. The clock could stop momentarily on a first down. You need about 30 yards to get in range for Evan McPherson, the reliable kicker. Gaines are crowding the line, and they try to get after Franks, but he's well protected, and it's a crossing route. Hammond gets a block, and he will get the first down and get the sideline. 16 seconds to go.
Perfect, right around midfield, and still looking for about 15 yards to give them a real shot, 10 to 15 yards to give them a shot here, but good decision to kind of throw the ball underneath, and he had such speed. That's an area that I think he's really worked with Dan Mullen. Instead of always taking the big shot, don't be afraid to work it underneath. Let your playmakers do the job.
The Gators offense overcoming the holding penalty. Franks has been pretty sharp tonight, and he's rolling to his right. Here comes the pressure, and they've got him. They've got him at the 40 and no timeout, so the clock is just going to run out, and Miami's defense makes a play to secure the halftime lead.
Yeah, that's where Dan Mullen is going to just be beside himself with his quarterback, because we were just talking about second year in this system. He's going to make better decisions for you, and then he ends up rolling right, not having the awareness, and Rousseau ends up getting in with that big sack for the Canes. What a half by the Miami Hurricane defense.
There's the touchdown score for the Hurricanes, the tight end Brevin Jordan on the carom, and the Canes mistake prone in the first half, but they have a 6-point lead. Let's hear from Dan Mullen with Maria.
All right, Coach, you had the momentum early. What changed during the course of this first half?
Dropping the ball. They didn't even create a turnover. We just threw it to them twice, once in the red zone. Those are things you can't do. Then way too many missed tackles on defense. Hey, guys, just got to tackle, wrap up better.
What do you credit some of these mental miscues to?
Oh, we just got to play sharper. You know what I mean? They're just little things of putting the ball on the ground, little mental mistakes. We just got to be a little bit cleaner. I think we're playing pretty well at times, and we're not real clean at other times right now. We got to play a little harder and just execute a little bit cleaner.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Mullen trying to chuckle through the mistakes, but in other words, it's an opening game, folks. Mistakes on both sides, but a charged up environment, and it's Miami. Ibis sitting on a Gator. And Miami with a 90-yard drive to take the lead before halftime. They're the team that's the underdogs. They're the team that didn't feel a whole lot of respect from the nation or the other side coming in, and they've got the lead despite a lot of mistakes.
Boy, we saw a lot of momentum swings. I mean, Florida, in their first series, 3 and out, all of a sudden, deep in their own territory, a fake punt that seemed to ignite them and really get them going. But give Miami's defense a ton of credit, because the main reason Miami's in this game is their defense had their backs against the wall, came up with play after play, and especially those turnovers to get the ball back to the young freshman quarterback.
Yeah, the 2 fumbles by the Gators really not even knock loose. They just dropped the ball on the ground. Maria?
Yeah, Chris, and the message for Manny Diaz and his team was all about momentum. It's about starting fast coming out of the locker room and finishing strong as this game comes to a close. But really the message he wanted to deliver to his team is playing to their potential. He said, imagine if we didn't have any penalties or we made all the tackles that we were supposed to, that we would be up even more in this matchup. No one expected us to be here, but we are here right now. So just playing cleaner football could get us the win in this one.
And that defense will be on the field momentarily. Tackling the problem early. And Florida's offense mistake prone. They'll take over after the touch test.
We talked about the Canes defense keeping them in this game.
It's the Visit Orlando playbook.
And that speed, I think, was the biggest difference. And I think the confidence. Trayvon Hill here was able to come up with that turnover where Davis coughed it up, and somehow the Canes came up with it. Here's the speed of that secondary. Bandy really the only experienced one. Felipe Franks leaves Pirine up to kind of hangs him out to dry, and it's a great play by Bandy. Here late, Quarterman, the experience, gets after Franks again, and the first-year defensive coordinator, Blake Baker, has got to be fired up with the way they looked in that first half.
Franks 7 for 9, 66 yards in the short pass, long run to Tony. Other than that play, really not much. They have not been able to press the ball downfield and create the shock play.
No, you know, last year Florida was a very balanced team throughout the year. 213 on the ground, 213 through the air. They were able to run the ball better late when Felipe Franks started to run the ball himself. But tonight they're not able to get that running game going. Only 40 yards running or rushing in the first half, and I think it's affected the rhythm to what they're trying to do in their passing game.
Pirine to the left of Franks on 2nd and 10. Gaines with a blitz. It's picked up, and Franks loops will throw on the sideline. Easy pitch and catch for a first down.
Well, they brought a corner blitz here. Al Blades from the boundary. And once he ends up blitzing, it gives Florida a very soft cushion. And good job by Franks. They weren't able to pick that up. He's going to take a hit. But see, once the blitz is there, there's nobody in the flat. You've got a safety against your best receiver, Van Jefferson. And that was an easy pitch and catch that time once he recognized that corner blitz from the boundary by Felipe Franks to Van.
Finally, Jefferson gets involved. First catch, 14 yards. He's now to the far right of the formation. It's a first down run to Pirine. Pirine in space. And finally wrestled down at midfield by Amari Carter, but it's another first down.
And that's a little bit more what you'd want to see if you're Florida. Better job of being able to sustain some blocks and giving Pirine a little bit of wiggle room there to allow him to use his vision. You start running the football, you can create some tempo, you can start to get Felipe Franks throwing more on his terms, and then you can be more assertive and aggressive as a play caller for Dan Mullen.
Mullen only 26 snaps for his offense in the first half, far short of what he would expect. Play action. Franks will take a downfield shot, and he had single coverage on the far side, and now a flag comes in. It was Al Blades covering Grimes.
I personally am a little bit surprised by this, only because the body position of Al Blades, he was in phase.
Defense number 7. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot.
Watch him get downfield, stay in phase, and actually look back for the football. I thought it was a pretty good play, personally.
Well, there's not much there at all.
No, and especially with his position. He's in phase, heads turned back looking for the ball, and at that point, you're allowed a little bit of hand fighting back and forth between the receiver and the corner.
Saw the hat cam of the official who threw the flag there in this Big 12 crew. So it moves the ball inside the Miami 40. 9th penalty against the Hurricanes, most of those on the offensive side. Gators shifting all over the place, got to hurry on the play clock down to 2-1, and they'll have to spend a timeout. There was confusion throughout that play trying to get lined up.
Yeah, shifting the motion.
Florida takes its first time out of the half.
Got to burn a timeout.
So Dan Mullen's offense on the march. We'll take a timeout. Be polite. Bob lost it.
Man, those rides are the best. I love them. The Avatar ride's the best ride you ever can imagine. I don't even know how they did it.
Controversial pass interference call sets the Gators up at the Canes 36 after the timeout. And Pirine, spinning in traffic, is going to be knocked down for a short loss. That time he could not escape Jonathan Ford.
Yeah, Jonathan Ford is the one interior defensive player that the Canes defense is really excited about. You know about Garvin, you know even about Trevon Hill and Rousseau, but on the inside they need some playmakers to emerge, and they think 96 Ford has a chance to be that next dominant force. You see the love movement up front, and with his athletic abilities, drops some weight, he's a lot quicker. And guy, I think this year Miami will really start to fall in love with 96 in the middle.
Yeah, physical, but you could see athletic as well.
Oh, yeah.
So after the loss, they try to get Tony on the end around, and the Canes swarm him, string him out, and drop him for a big loss back at the 44. Romeo Finley, the speedy striker.
What I like here is just the positioning by the Miami defense. Remember, Tony's got tremendous speed, and when he gets outside, you got to be worried about him. Look at Bandy out here. Now he cuts back, and you got a linebacker right here. So good spacing, good team pursuit by 11 defenders by the Canes. Just great discipline there not to allow the speed of Tony to become a problem.
Look at all the white and orange around the football. Loss makes it 3rd and 17. Pirine, the running back, is to the far left of the formation. 5 receiver look. And Franks fires short, incomplete. Never had a chance. Tried to get the ball to Jefferson, but the loss, that tackle for loss, ruins the drive.
Florida had that pass interference call, which you and I agreed it was a bad call, and instead of Miami letting that lead to some points, they bow up, make some plays, and not being talked about as much as so many of the more high-profile guys at the bigger program.
Hurricanes from their 5-yard line. Dallas in the backfield. Last time Miami was backed up. We've been backed up a lot. They went on a 90-yard 12-play march to take the lead before halftime. Zuniga made the play.
Yeah, Zuniga and Grenard are just having a great night, especially Grenard. Chris, you talked about the emotion he dealt with being at Louisville, playing against Alabama. It wasn't a good night for them, obviously, and for him individually getting hurt. Transfers to Florida, knows the system of Todd Grantham, has pointed to this night and playing on this very field where he got hurt, and is having a big night. And every time we see a close-up of his face, you can just see the intensity and the focus that he's playing with, and he is dominating that young Miami offensive line.
It's a defense that had a bunch of studs, and he comes in as a newcomer trying to be one of the alphas. Miami breaking the huddle very late. They're going to have to spend another timeout if they see it. I mean, there was no chance they were going to get the playoff.
They got the timeout. They got the timeout.
They broke the huddle with 4 seconds to go in the play clock, so more growing pains. You're right about Grenard, and we highlight him because he has had a monster night on his quite a story coming back to the scene and, in his words, facing his fears. But because he knew Todd Grantham from when Grantham was at Louisville and he knew the playbook, he could kind of assume that leadership role. Guys were looking to him, and he knew exactly what was going on almost more than they did.
Yeah, I thought that was a good point by Coach Grantham, that he said not only the ability, but having such a young defense, having a veteran, it's almost like he's a player coach for this defense. He sets an example. He's just, whether it's meetings or understanding scheme, dedication that it takes. And he said, I think they've seen that really pay off for this defense.
How about the transfer portal in college football, Kirk? Florida lost 9 guys. It was crowded to get out of the portal, but they get some back. Miami, a whole boatload of dudes transferring in. We've seen some of them make impacts tonight. Young quarterback got to be careful. He's standing on his own goal line. On 2nd and 10. He faked the handoff to Dallas, and they zip it along the sidelines. Incomplete. Try to get the ball to Thomas, and flying in was Henderson in coverage.
Yeah, that's one of the first throws that he's made. First of all, you got to admire Dan Enos. You said his heels at his goal line. He has to stand in there and deal with that pass rush, knowing that Grenard's on his right and actually got in there into his face as he was getting ready to throw the ball. But he stands in there and he throws it. Actually, if you're going to miss that one, miss it outside, miss it out of bounds. Can't throw it behind the receiver. Otherwise, that could easily be a pick 6.
The down's been rough. Gator crowd behind him. Williams again, the feet on the goal line, rolling out. Looked inside for a shovel pass, and now just has to avoid a safety, and he's spun down for a short loss. It'll be 4th down. That was Jeremiah Moon on the edge.
Yeah, and a big hit there at the end. A couple different defenders. Looked like Sean Davis, 31, came in. Just missed maybe being a late hit. It was a broken play. He's just trying to make the most out of it. 7 comes in Moon, but it's the hit right there by Davis, 31, that may have potentially caught the official's attention. The attention of the official.
Now Headley backed up in his goal line, and the Aussie gets the punt away, and it will bounce sideways and roll dead. And once again, Florida will begin a drive into Miami territory. Wendy's weekend watch actually looks ahead to next weekend's schedule, the first full weekend of games. And we talked about the one we're excited to bring you, ABC, Oregon, and Auburn from AT&T Stadium. And then we'll head down to Louisville on Labor Day night. How about Houston and Oklahoma?
That is a great battle of quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts comes over from Alabama. It's his first start. Derek King, who's one of the more talented dual threat quarterbacks in the country, with Dana Holgorsen now as the head coach.
It's a Sunday night game. ACC Network has Georgia Tech and Clemson. He handed off Dameon Pierce. Freaky athlete, has contributed mostly on special teams. Figures to get his share of carries this year.
They're going back to that 4 wide receiver look. Well, maybe they're gonna abort it, but they've been using that a lot, almost forcing the hand of Miami to make up their mind if they're going to spread out with those receivers or leave them alone one-on-one. Now they go to a different formation, same personnel group.
2nd and 8, and Pierce deep in the backfield, fighting forward. Passion on the tackle. It'll be 3rd and 6.
Running downhill these first 2 plays with positive the ball in positive territory. Dan Mullen saying, let's not get cute with this. Let's get the big back in and run downhill and just kind of wear on the Miami defense, challenge them. But now they're in 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 range.
Franks zips it, and it's broken up. Coming in to get a hand on that play was Gilbert Frierson. Patchen pressured him, and it's 4th down.
They've been rotating Finley and Frierson. Frierson's probably better in coverage, the former corner, so they're not afraid to leave him out there on his own. Maybe got away with that right hand pulling on the receiver that time, Swain, but makes a good play to be able to swat it away.
Offense on the field. Gators have been successful on 4th down a couple of times tonight. Now on 4th and 5, another big momentum play. Pirine is in the slot. 5 receiver look. Franks has a lot of time trying to direct traffic downfield, and he delivers a strike to Grimes, and they'll move the sticks.
Well, the Miami coaching staff were going crazy because it looked like the right tackle jumped. Watch the right tackle. Jumps before the ball. They did not make the call. Miami thought it'd be a dead ball, and instead there's no pass rush. Franks has time. The officials miss one there, and Florida capitalizes.
That is a rough miss on a crucial play. Now from the pocket, Franks across the middle, has a man wide open, and the catch is made by Kyle Pitts, the tight end, and the non-call proving huge as the Gators will have a first and goal.
When they get on that left hash, Miami right now showing a tendency of bringing the corner from the boundary, and it's creating some one-on-one matchups back into the boundary that are more favorable for Florida with their receivers against safeties and a tight end against a safety.
Jefferson to the left. The 6'5" Grimes is a red zone target. He's on the right. Franks looking that way, trying to buy time, and now just fires it out of the end zone. He was chased down there by Gervin Hall in the safety blitz.
As a run-pass option, he's eyeing the safety to try to determine if he's committing to the run. Then he'll pull it and throw it. He kind of was in between. I think he may have gotten fooled on that play, and he didn't have the window to be able to throw it, so he had nothing to do but just to try to buy some time and then throw it away.
Second and goal. In the flats, Perine trying to make a man miss, but he can't. Wrestled down by Shaq Quarterman. That's a big old linebacker making a tackle on a shifty back.
And I think Quarterman's one of the top linebackers in the country. He's been around for 4 years. Really the alpha of this defense. Matched up in space against Perine. This is a tough ask for a big physical middle linebacker, about 240 pounds, but he's able to kind of eliminate that space and then make the play. Good job. Just great fundamentals that time by Shaq Quarterman.
Gators' second red zone trip. Did not score a touchdown the first time. Third and goal. Play clock winding down. Got to hurry. 2-1. But they get it off. Franks. Doesn't matter. He's going to be swarmed right at the line of scrimmage, and Miami's defense rises up when their backs are against the goal line.
Interesting call there on third down. They've been going for it so often tonight on fourth down. It almost felt like a play call where he was trying to pick up just a few yards to get a little closer. But I think
puzzling, huh?
Yeah, very puzzling. He looked over to get confirmation from Dan Mullen to find out if this is the play we want to go with. But that play really never much of a chance.
Evan McPherson led all freshmen in field goal percentage last year. Made 15 and narrowly missed 2. This from 27 yards to cut the Hurricanes lead to 3. So Miami players back out wary of a Dan Mullen fake down there. Not too sure. But the sophomore knocks it through. And Florida within 3 now. Midway third quarter. Linebacker Clinton Portis, the running back behind him in green there. Just huge stars on both sides. Talked about season 150, and we want to celebrate the contribution to Florida football that Mr. Two Bits made. George Edmondson began this tradition as a young fan when the Gator crowd was apathetic, and he just carried it on for like half a century. 2 bits, 4 bits, 6 bits, $1. All for the Gators, stand up and holler. And we lost him. He passed away in July, so we want to recognize his meaning to the Gator Nation in the first game since his passing.
My first year on the show was 1996, and of course it was a memorable year for the Gators. I remember seeing that for the first time in person that year, and to see the reaction from the crowd, it was very, very special.
It was a good run. Age 97 when he passed away. So now Miami back to work, still in front thanks to that defensive red zone stand, and still trying to find a way to get a running game going. Alice, 43 yards rushing on 7 carries, really been the only back that's had any headway.
That and avoiding mistakes, miscues, 2nd and 10 or 3rd and 15, trying to get back to being on schedule. The screen pass is also something to get back to.
Alice on a delayed handoff, and he's dragged down. Get back to the initial line of scrimmage. Bernard again.
You know, again, just to remind people, you're dealing with a lot of youth up front on this Miami offense. We've been talking all night about Jaron Williams, but his offensive linemen are very, very young. True freshman at left tackle, redshirt freshman at the right tackle spot, center making his first career start. So at this point, Chris, where you've got to lead with 13-10, this game's far from over. Dan Eno's trying to manage, not only trying to move the ball, but manage the game and help that offensive line and help that quarterback make good decisions.
It's been a cautious series so far, but it leads to a 3rd and 10. Gators don't blitz. Williams has time and now rolls free, scanning the field, takes off, and he'll be far short of a first down. And now a flag comes in very late on the Florida sideline.
They were chasing him. That's the thing, as a defense, you're always worried, is somebody going to make a mistake and hit a guy late when he's running near the boundary and he steps out of bounds. Dean, 21, came in. Once he was out of bounds, he's pushed actually by Harley into him, but I mean, when you look at it in super slow-mo, you could easily say that it wasn't that bad, but when you see it in regular speed, it looked a little tougher.
Dan Mullen was right there, ripped his visor off. It was screaming at this Big 12 crew.
After the runner was out of bounds, personal foul, late hit, defense. It's a 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
The Gator fans will say that's very soft. Most of the calls have sort of gone Florida's way tonight. Dave Kataya, rules expert. How do you see that one?
He hits him. He doesn't knock him down. I don't think there's enough there. I know there's not enough there to make a call. That's not enough.
Instead, it's a 15-yard penalty. It prolongs the drive, and Miami's at their own 42.
Sometimes, in my opinion, watching football for so many years, if there's almost any contact, once the guy's declared out of bounds, you see officials having a willingness to throw that flag, no matter how egregious the hit is.
Play action, Williams rolling, and he will just get out of bounds for a short loss, shoved out again near the sideline by Grenard. This Big 12 crew did say they were aware of the emotion of this rivalry game, and they were going to call it pretty tight.
You know, he went out of bounds, and you know who tried to help him there was Felipe Franks. He ironically gets pushed inbounds by Grenard, and all those Gators over there on the sideline, and who is it but 13 that ends up, he actually, watch him grab onto 13 like, we're boys, we're quarterbacks, right? Like, help.
Kind of, sort of. I think
he grabbed him. Like, help me.
That was half-hearted help.
No, Franks wasn't helping, but he was asking for help.
Oh, 2nd and 11. Tate Martell's in the game, and he's in motion. And it's a handoff, trying to get to the edge. And this Cameron Harris, he's got a first down and more. He's got the sideline. There is a flag down way back in Miami territory as Harris is knocked down at the 2. And I think the explosive play is going to come back. Mike DeFee is still standing in midfield, and everybody's walking back.
Anytime you see a flag way back in the backfield, it's either a chop block or a hold, usually on the offensive line.
Cameron Harris, though, showed his speed, a guy that did not make much of an impact as the third tailback a year ago, but he may be earning more carries.
There are 2 fouls, both on the offense. Holding, offense number 4, penalties decline. Holding, offense number 9. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay second down.
So 2 receivers blocking. They take the one on the tight end, Jordan, negating a 56-yard gain.
He got caught up with Zuniga, and Zuniga looked like he was about to get by him. Jordan might actually slipped off the line of scrimmage and just reached up and pulled him down. And you know, sad part is he really didn't have anything to do with the success of the play.
10th Hurricane penalty for 73 yards.
Gators lost the edge to their defense, something that Todd Grantham really prides himself on, forcing the ball back to the inside. That time, they did not have the edge set.
Set up the ball to 4-3. They're throwing 30 with a 2nd and 21, and under pressure again, Williams trying to escape, and he'll just throw it into the bench.
Great job.
He's learning fast on the job under fire tonight.
Great job. The defense got in a hurry, rotating bodies, and time it looked like it may have been Moon 7 that got around the edge.
Sean Davis going to chase him down.
Yeah, brought a little more pressure, but he bought just enough time to be able to stay alive and get that ball to the outside. That right tackle, John Campbell, continues to have his hands full against the Gators' edge rusher.
Williams sacked 5 times and pressured about a dozen more. Martell, again, the ex-quarterback, now playing receiver to the left of the formation on 3rd and 21. Alice in the slot. Williams looked that way, backpedaling again. And young fella just get down and throw it away. He takes another hit. That was James Houston. boy, the Gators just keep rotating front 7 players in there.
Yeah, they're staying fresh because they have some depth. That, a lot of guys are hybrid guys. They can move and play different positions. 3rd and 23. You got to remember that. And even though he's able to keep this play alive initially, you either get rid of the ball or get down or throw it away, but he cannot continue to scramble around. And very easily, that helmet gets put on that football. It's on the ground, and the Gators have great field position.
Only previous experience against Savannah State. Gators are a little saltier than Savannah State. Headley, the Aussie, finally does a typical Aussie punt. He rolls out, and it's a good boot. But Swain, great start, knocked down. And there's another flag down. Things getting a little sloppy here late in the 3rd quarter. Headley's best kick tonight. It's a 14-yard return. Dealing with quick players on the opposing defense, quick players on special teams, and you get tired guys out there, you tend to see the flags pile up, especially early in the season. Such a struggle to stay hydrated. Your body's overheating. You can practice in these conditions with the intensity of playing in a game. And both strength and conditioning staffs spend a lot of the offseason and the last 48 hours trying to hydrate their players, but there's some mental and physical wear and tear we're seeing in this quarter.
There are 2 fouls on the return team. Holding return team number 12. That penalty's declined. Illegal block in the back on the return team number 10. That penalty enforced 10 yards. First down.
So Florida, after the penalty, and it'll cost them some field position. We get this Gator offense. They came out and they were electric. They scored an opening possession to answer a Miami field goal. The second drive was a long one, but ended in a fumble. And since then, they have not been very productive. This is not what Mullen expected.
The last series, with great field position, yet again, they decided initially to get physical and try to run the ball, and they brought their more physical back in, and Dameon Pierce. Now they have Pirine back in, and see if they try to spread this Canes defense out and try to win some one-on-one battles, something that's been very challenging for them against a Canes secondary that's breaking in 3 new starters.
That's
holding
a great
up.
point. They thought they could make plays downfield. That was the concern for Diaz and the defense, giving them up. Franks on first down. Step up and order one of those intermediate throws. And the catch is made by Tyree Cleveland, senior receiver.
Chris, collectively, you look at Van Jefferson and Cleveland and Grimes and Hammond and Swain and Tony. You throw Kyle Pitts in, the tight end. I mean, they've got a lot of playmakers that they'd love to try to get the ball to, but whether it's been a read that didn't work out for Franks or pressure from the offensive line not holding up, they've just not been able to get in sync with a lot of those playmakers.
And the surprise is that Jefferson just the 1 catch. Tony had the 1 catch. It was the big touchdown. Hammond 2 receptions. Franks into his left, but he's not as comfortable, and the throw is inaccurate to Kyle Pitts.
The pass rush there favors his right, Chris, to flush him left. They don't want to give him that option to come out and scramble to his right. Film study of an entire year last year, especially late in the year, showed that Franks loves to move when he creates to his right. And having an entire offseason to study him, they're intentionally bringing that pressure from the right, kicking him left where they don't think he's as accurate as he is when he rolls to his right.
2nd and 10. Canes rush 4. Franks flushed quickly from the pocket. He gave up on the pocket quickly, tried to get it to Pirine. Inaccurate throw. It'll be 3rd and long.
See, this is an area where I think he's got to be able to study film and continue to work and get comfortable in pressure. He sees a flash on his left side of the tackle. There's no reason to get out of the pocket. There's no reason not to let the play develop and work through his progressions. It shows you that when he sees a different color jersey flash, his first reaction is to look down and feel that pass rush and want to get out. And when you do that, it hurts the offense and the ability to execute.
On 3rd down, a throw across the field to Hammond, and the slot receiver battles hard, shoved down on the sideline short of the marker by Gervin Hall. It'll be 4th down.
I go back to that 2nd down where the Canes are able to come up with a stop on third down, not having a chance to get any yards and giving up on that play a little bit prematurely, put him in a better position on third down.
You like the line to make, Cam?
I love the line. I love that, Cam. I hope it's still standing after that play, but I loved it up to that point.
It's the bigger, cooler cousin of the pylon Cam.
Yeah.
Thomas is the punt returner for the Canes at the 10-yard line. And Townsend's had a good night. And this is a boomer. And Thomas muffs it, and the Gators recover. A game-changing special teams gaffe by the veteran receiver and Van Jefferson. The Gators veteran receiver flies down and pounces on it.
Wow, wow, wow. The Gators now take advantage of a miscue. Instead, it's been the Canes taking advantage. This time, the Canes have the miscue. And how about the receivers of Florida? They're on all the special teams. These guys are seniors. They want to be involved. You see Cleveland is right there. This time, Van Jefferson right on the spot. And the Gators have great field position at the 11-yard line. And once again, that Canes defense put in an unenviable position.
Boy, Thomas, the last guy I'd expect to make that mistake. One of the steady playmakers on this team. And yeah, you're right. The Canes defense tested once again. Pirine lined up very deep. They fake it to him. Franks on the edge, was looking back to his left and just flips it. Incomplete, a little too close to the sideline for comfort there.
Good to throw it away, but throw it once you're outside of the tackle box. Throw it into the stands. Don't make it so close. That's terrifying.
Scott Patchen was giving chase.
And Bandy, boy, he did a good job of making the read. He's been playing well all night. Realized there's nobody on his side, so he immediately bailed, got his head on a swivel, and took away the receiver that was coming into his direction.
Third red zone trip, Kirk, for the Gator offense. They've kicked a couple of field goals down here, not found the end zone yet from the red zone. Jefferson split to the left. Pirine immediately hit in the backfield, but he escapes, squirts forward for a gain to about the 7. And it'll be 3rd and goal.
Pretty good job of leg drive. Again, just a balanced back, can do everything in this Florida offense. That time he showed that leg strength and being able to avoid contact in the backfield.
Final minute of the 3rd quarter. Correction, they can make a first down at the 1, so it's 3rd and 6. One of 9 on 3rd down. Franks across the middle. Pirine catches it and scores. The Gators go back in front as they cash in the turnover.
Boy, watch the linebacker who gets caught up. This is a well-designed play right here. Keep an eye on him because the tight end Pitts gets in his way just enough to allow Pirine to get back underneath him. That put Pinckney in a tough spot because the tight end goes in front of him, loses his vision, and before he can realize what has happened, Pirine cuts underneath him to be wide open, and Franks finds him for the touchdown.
In a football game of mistakes and momentum shifts, it's the Gators taking 11 yards in 3 plays after the Thomas muff to go back on front. And McPherson makes it a 4-point margin with 30 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter here in Orlando.
But I think he was capable of so much more. I think being one of the elite quarterbacks in the game. So it's very sad news to hear that.
Gators jumping around on their sidelines. It was the punt coverage team that made the play. Van Jefferson charging down there. Muffed by Jeff Thomas, setting up Florida at the 11. And Pirine takes it in on the pass reception as the Gators reclaim the lead. Just a series of challenges for Jaron Williams, and now he's going to have to try to bring his team from behind. Maria?
Well, Chris, you can see Florida trying to generate a little more energy, a little more momentum. Felipe Franks jumped over the bench, started shaking hands with some of the Florida fans, talking a little smack to Miami fans. And I can see Pirine as well jumping up on the bench, telling everyone to get up. They're just trying to create more energy and obviously talk a little trash to some of those Miami fans.
I don't know if Dan Mullen's having a conversation with his quarterback about that. Let's stay focused. Let's stay on this side of the bench.
I'm not a fan of that. You just focus on executing. You know, if you want to talk to the offensive linemen and the rest of the team.
Amen. From the pocket, Williams stands in and delivers in traffic, and it's broken up beautifully by Henderson. And now a flag comes in. Did he get there too soon over the back of Jordan?
He definitely got there too soon. C.J. Henderson is a great player, but he mistimed this. Got there early. Official made the right call.
Henderson, a guy that did not allow a touchdown in coverage last year. And only one reception by opposing receivers every 19 snaps in coverage. So they got a lot of stats, but trust me, that's very, very good.
Well, you can throw his hat in the ring, one of the top corners, if not the elite corner in the country.
Defense, number 49, spot foul, automatic first down.
He's lucky to get that ball off. You could see the contact there before the ball got there.
Penalty certainly on number 1.
Yeah, I didn't catch what did he say?
49.
49. Yeah. Week 0. It's all good.
Williams zips it across the middle, and the catch is made near the first down marker. Is Thomas trying to atone for that mistake? You know, he's desperate to do something positive now.
Yeah, he gets a chance to bounce right back, and all we heard from Manny Diaz throughout the entire camp was resiliency. How are they going to respond? Are they going to have toughness, mental toughness? Are they going to have maturity to handle when they get hit in the mouth? Last year, that was an issue for them. They didn't necessarily handle that offensively very well. And tonight, they're handling it with a redshirt freshman quarterback.
It was a cautious quarter, though. The Canes gained just 8 yards. 15 minutes to go. It's Florida up by 4. Back after these messages.
To get by them often and even causing some issues. 6 sacks on the night, being able to get off with the offensive lineman and get into the face of this young quarterback, Jaron Williams. And Miami has a couple first downs going to start this drive, trying to slow down that Gator defense.
And Dallas has hit in the backfield. More penetration. Barging into the backfield was Zuniga, not just a pass rusher.
No, I think he's a complete player, and he's had a big night. We just showed you a video package with the offensive tackles having a rough night, mainly dealing with the pass rush. But there's another example of Zuniga being able to use that quickness to get inside again of John Campbell, the right tackle.
There's a flag on the field.
Well, they were
after the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense number 55. The 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's Kyrie Campbell. That is a mental mistake. And look at the expression on Mullen's face.
Yeah, well, he came over top of where the ball carrier Campbell, or where Jaron Williams was, and there were about 4 Gators there, and Campbell was the one that was right in front of an official, was chirping. And the officials made it clear. We were on the field before the game. I said, hey, you guys expecting it to be pretty intense tonight? They said, we've already warned both teams in the locker room. There'll be no warnings on the field. The next thing, it'll just be a penalty if they're out here doing that type of thing. There's an example.
DJ Dallas in the backfield. Wildcat look. And he takes off up the middle. And Dallas, the running back, still going. Look at the strength. DJ Dallas to the secondary, down the sidelines, and to the end zone. Miami reclaims the lead. 50 yards. And it pays off in a big way.
Yeah, a wrinkle that worked a little earlier for a nice game, but atrocious tackling by the Gators secondary. C.J. Henderson off to the left. Watch this effort to come in here and get involved. Miss, Olay, safety, a poor effort. Marco Wilson, a poor effort. The speed of Dallas into the end zone, but poor, very poor tackling by that Florida Gators secondary. Unwillingness to make a play.
Strong words, and I agree with you. Backs up for the extra point. It's the 4th lead change in the game, and early 4th quarter, the underdogs from Coral Gables are in front.
There's Henderson right there, perfect position. He just doesn't want it.
Electric play. He's got the touchdown ring. He's DJ Dallas after Miami reclaims the lead on his touchdown burst out of the Wildcat formation. Remember, unlike the NFL, you get those 4 preseason games. This is college football. You go from the practices to the scrimmage. You get these opening games, especially one that's the earliest ever, you're going to have mistakes, you're going to have missed tackles. You've had a lot of them on both sides, but boy, it has been exciting. Now the Gators one more time will have to respond. And Manny Diaz told his team plays just like that would help decide this game.
How many times during the course of a game do I have to make a guy miss for us to win? I gotta make miss, make you miss, make you miss, make you miss. Hey, you're not getting a rep. Make me miss, make me miss, make me miss, make me miss. Think about it. Hey, get your eyes immediately on the next defender. They got no chance if they can't tackle us. And guess what? They can't. We ready to roll? Let's go, everybody pop up. Let's get ready to work.
Well, they did not that time, that's for sure.
No, and like I said, he also preached adversity. Adversity will hit us. How are we going to respond to that? It's still got a whole quarter to play. Florida's not obviously out of this game. They can obviously bounce back, but Miami has definitely hit some adversity and responded.
And Malik Davis is swarmed in the backfield by Pat Bethel for a loss.
Well, this is the issue. Dan Mullen addressed it walking off with Maria at halftime. He's seen the same thing, and it's been very frustrating because this defense is so capable. They're so athletic, but when you see so many missed tackles, it's not just about technique. It's about want. It's about being aggressive and wanting to make a play.
Davis motions out and now goes back across the formation to the right side. Empty backfield. Canes are showing some pressure. Rush for Franks. It's over the middle and it's intercepted. Picked off by Amari Carter. And the Canes safety still running. And fighting down inside the 25 as the Gator offense presses and makes a mistake, and the Hurricanes are in position to build on this lead.
He's late with the football over the middle. He had two wide receivers where he would have had a chance. This Miami defense is starting to really believe. I think they came in kind of hoping, and I think the Gators believed, and as this game has gone on, I think it's kind of changed the way these two teams feel. Right now, if the ball is delivered, it's there, and he has a chance. But it goes over the hands of Freddie Swain, and there's the safety, Amari Carter, who's able to make the play. But
Carter, just 2 starts in his career. Huge shoes to fill. Jaquan Johnson, he wore that turnover chain more than anybody. And it's come out for the 3rd time tonight, and now the Canes set up at the 25. And toss pitch, and Dallas, excuse me, that's Harris spelling Dallas. Falls downhill for 4. And now it's the Florida defense that has to step up and make a stand.
Yeah, and they're capable of doing that. We talked about Dan Enos and how's he gonna approach the game. You know, I feel like Jaron Williams. I don't think he's worried about Jaron Williams. I think Jaron Williams has shown enough poise that, and kind of moxie that I don't think he's worried about him. Now he's just calling plays and trying to obviously put points on the board, be aggressive here.
More sacks taken than incompletions thrown for Williams. 6 versus 4. Harris has to slip a tackle in the backfield, and he'll be stopped up for no gain. Zuniga came around the corner. So again, a couple of cautious play calls. Set up in plus territory, up 3.
Set up this 3rd down, and again, this is where Brevin Jordan comes into play. Typically the tight end 9. They've moved him around all over the place, whether he's been in the slot, he's been in line. See where they put him this time. They're going to start him at the bottom of the screen.
He's been the top receiver tonight, 4 catches, including the touchdown off the Karam. 3rd and 7. Gators crowd the line. And they try to pitch it to the edge. It's a 3rd running play called, and Harris, good job to fight and escape. Is he close enough that Diaz is going to gamble on 4th down here?
Wow.
It's
How about
just
that
short.
effort to not give up on that play? Again, we keep talking about missed tackles. I mean, he was spinning through the defense, and Manny Diaz playing the sure way, the safe way, at least it appears to be, as they bring out the field goal unit.
And murmurs from the crowd right in front of us here. They wanted to see a little bit more aggression.
What an effort.
You need less than a yard after that excellent work by Harris. Baxa very reliable. 36-42, and now this from 33 to extend the lead to 6, and it's a fake. And the kicker's got it, and he's got the edge. A flag comes out. Baxa's knocked out inside the 5. Another flag where he was hit out of bounds. but there was a flag very early in the fake as Diaz answers Mullins' trickery with some of his own.
Looks like you're going to have a hold, and then you're going to have a late hit personal foul on Florida.
That's a good call. You can almost read his lips very early in the fake. And by the way, that was fun to give the kicker a chance on the edge to outrun the coverage team, and then he was hit late.
There are 2 fouls on play. During the run, holding offense number 85. That penalty being forced 10 yards from the previous spot. After the play, personal foul, late hit, out of bounds. On the defense, number
41, James Houston.
It's going to be a first down.
Distance the goal penalty and an automatic first
Yeah, because
down.
it's a dead ball foul.
Yeah.
They mark the penalty off, but it's an automatic first down. It'll set Miami up first and goal. What a terrible mental mistake.
Yeah, another mental error for Florida. A miscue. He was well out of bounds. Well out of bounds, and Houston cannot stop himself from making the hit. And they get the ball just outside of the 10-yard line after all the penalties. And not only that, you give him a new set of downs, and Dan Mullen trying to talk to his team about maturity and making good decisions.
Now Bubba feels like he's in the game, Kurt. He's made a couple of field goals. He's run for a fake. He's taken a big shot. And let's see if the Canes can cash this in now.
Discipline, man.
They fake it to Dallas. Williams rolling out, flips it short underneath, off the hands of the big tight end Mallory in heavy traffic. The Canes lucky to escape without a turnover.
They went back into the boundary. Speaking of heavy traffic, somebody didn't run the right route. You had 2 Canes within just a couple yards of each other. The big tight end who he threw it to, Mallory, but also you had Jeff Thomas who went in motion running out into the flat. My guess would be Thomas had to be going out into the flat, and Mallory would probably be going down in about into the end zone, I would think, to create some separation. So he had a lot of blue jerseys there with 2 receivers in the same spot.
Look who's the quarterback. Tate Martell beaten out. Now the third teamer. Williams is split out to the right, kind of in a stack. So another little wrinkle here. Martell hands it off. Dallas trying to bounce it. Can he get to the edge? Fights hard to get back and gains a yard as the trickery continues here. You knew Martell would be involved as a slot receiver, perhaps a situational quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, when he comes in, Florida, I'm sure the scouting report says when 18 takes that direct snap, you look at it no different than probably a DJ Dallas. Only thing is they may be reading the zone read, reading the edge defender because of his experience. He was such a gifted quarterback in high school at running that kind of offense out of Bishop Gorman.
So the Canes now face a 3rd and 9. They're able to chew on some of this clock with the 3-point lead. Let's see if they have to settle for another alleged field goal attempt. Williams fires, end zone, diving catch, incomplete, broken up. Henderson was covering Thomas. 2 elite athletes.
That's a great matchup. You get Jeff Thomas, 5'10", 180 pounds, matched up against C.J. Henderson. We talked about Henderson not willing to make a tackle coming up in run support. This is what he does well, but there was some separation there from Thomas. Little push maybe, gets away with it. Ball's thrown away. Outstanding effort to extend himself. Just couldn't quite finish the play, and Henderson's trying to get his hands in there to dislodge the ball.
Here's Bubba backs it again. And they get nothing out of his possession as he pushes it right. So the personal foul on the fake set them up in scoring position, but the normally reliable kicker pushes it right. Maybe he was at a hard hit on the sidelines.
All that. 0 points. Now Florida gets the ball and see what Felipe Franks can do.
Improving some lives of folks living in the shadows of the stadium. Gators get the football back after the missed chip shot. And regain some rhythm on offense. They take it to Pirine. Franks looking for a downfield shot. Hammond got it. Josh Hammond dragged down inside the 20. Finally, the Gators hit a deep ball.
They get the inside fade, one-on-one matchup. It's a good matchup here. He's right on the inside here, moves to the end and goes by him. He's got room to work because of how far they spread him out. And he goes right by Frierson, who's had a big night tonight as a nickelback, but he gets beat right at the line of scrimmage. Hammond showing you some speed, known as a great route runner, but gets by him. And how about the throw by Franks on that one?
65-yard gain. Now Pirine in the flat. And he'll be knocked down. That's what Diaz was afraid of. He thought maybe it'd be Jefferson on the edge, but Josh Hammond, the senior, reliable slot receiver, just blasting down the field.
You know, an area that Florida talked with us. Dan Mullen said, you know, red zone for us was an issue at times. They were 91st in the country in scoring touchdowns. Once they get inside the red zone, they couldn't finish them off. 58%. It's a big drive here for them. They need a touchdown and not field goal to tie it.
And they flip it in the flat against the tight end Pitts. And he knifes through and will dive down. First and goal, Florida. Didn't look like much at the start, but he was patient.
How about the block by Tyree Cleveland? He just locked down the Miami defender that was trying to get to the ball. Bandy, who's a physical corner, he just locks him down. I got this guy, cut in behind me, and he almost was able to kind of clear the path to the end zone.
It's a lean tight end showing great patience in space. Three receivers to the left. Franks keeping it. Barrels in. Touchdown. Florida back on top. 80-yard drive in 4 plays. The electric strike that Houston sets up the short touchdown run.
And this is the part of his game that last year we started to see. They had to account for him running the ball. 6'6", 245 pounds. He can get downhill in a hurry. He's like a big tight end or a fullback when he runs the ball inside the 5-yard line.
You know, you pointed out last 6 games of last year, 6 rushing touchdowns. He did it against South Carolina when he came back after getting benched. Did it to Michigan in the bowl game. So momentum shifts back and forth in Orlando. It's Miami's turn to have to answer down 4, 8:18 to play. So the Gators back in front 5. Lead changes tonight. Whole bunch of mistakes by both teams.
So stop playing with me. I do this.
Okay. Felipe has had a lot of fun talking to the cameras, his fans, opposing fans. That was a good drive for him. The throw to Hammond and the touchdown run. But he's a veteran now.
Yeah.
Kickoff coverage team having a little fun. Urban Meyer would approve of that as he watches box. This is going to be returnable. Thomas, who earlier had the muff punt, trying to make an electric play to tone for it. And he gets the edge. It's a nice return. It's out across the 35-yard line. So with 8:11 to go, Jaron Williams back to work, and Dollar General brings you the quarterback comparison. Franks finally making a big play. He did have the 1 interception and also has a touchdown run. Very efficient for Williams. He's been sacked 6 times.
Yeah, he's had to deal with a lot of pressure. That play by Franks shows you what he's capable of doing with the big arm. I mean, blink of your eye, 4 plays, 80 yards. They respond and take the lead here in the 4th quarter with 8:11 to go. And that throw obviously ignited the drive.
They fake it to Dallas, and now it's Williams who's looking to take a downfield shot. Instead, throws it across the middle, and the catch is made by K.J. Osborne to midfield.
Yeah, they think K.J. Osborne transfers over from Buffalo, kind of brings a mature attitude in. This thing is wide open and does a good job of just letting it develop, not being a little bit premature, a little early, want to hurry because of the pressure from that defensive line. Just let Osborne run his route, let him right into that opening, and picks up big yards.
Every practice you go to, he's the last one out in the field, working on fundamentals, trying to improve his skills. Martell in the game now, split to the left on 1st down. And he handed off inside, immediate penetration. That was big Kyrie Campbell who wrecked the play.
They're getting penetration. I mean, almost every single time when Miami runs into the middle with their backs, the defensive line is having their way with them. Zuniga, again, 92, is an outstanding player. Watch his quickness over on the right side. He just goes right by Campbell, gets into the backfield. And
Campbell's holding his hand after the play.
Yeah.
He's still down.
It's almost like they knew what was coming on that play.
You know, they have a lot of moving pieces, as you said, a lot of guys who can play different positions. They're deep there. Elijah Cunliffe suffered an injury, and they were down a couple of guys on that defensive line who did not meet the Gators standard. So they were sitting this one out. When the smoke clears, they'll be back in action, but even slightly depleted, Gator defense has a whole lot of talent up front, and you can see they're still checking out the hand of Campbell.
Yeah, I'm here playing in this heat and humidity, even though they practice in it. Get into the fourth quarter with 7:19 to go. Adrenaline going tonight. First game of the year.
If you told Manning and Danny Enos that Jaron Williams would have a chance, the ball be in midfield, down 4 late in the game, would they have taken that and like their chances, this young guy to make a play and reclaim the lead yet again?
Of course. I mean, that would tell Miami that as a big underdog, you know, they've got a chance to come in and be competitive. And, you know, if you're a Miami fan, you got to really like what you've seen from this young quarterback, Jaron Williams, and even from the offensive line. If you're a Gators fan, they've had to bounce back from some really tough times throughout this game. So this is the greatest thing about week 0 and next week, week 1, is your team. You think you know your team, but you really don't. Every coach. So you throw them out here on a big stage, and you see how they respond to the ebb and flow of the game. And tonight, I think there's a lot to learn for both these teams, not just the young quarterback.
Most felt the Gators had a lot more to lose as the preseason top 10 team. And they came in, I think, feeling like they were going to steamroll Miami. It has not happened. 2nd and 11. Dallas is the back. But Williams is going straight back. Steps up. Still surveys the field. Has a man wide open. And that's Brevin Jordan, the tight end. How do you lose him? First down near the 30.
He was on a crossing route. Linebackers, they were in a good spot, but they lost him because he extended the play. Jaron Williams bought some time. Nobody's back there. C.J. Henderson crossed, who's a corner on that side, crossed the middle of the field with a wide receiver. So once he got by the linebacker, he got behind the Gator defense. And again, nice job of improvising by Jaron Williams and buying that just enough time there to find his favorite target, Brevin Jordan, who's having a big night tonight.
It's Martell back in the game at quarterback. Williams is out to the right. He's always has like trick play potential to it, but it's Martell who's going to take off and try to show his quickness to the edge, and the Gators are all over it. All over it. He's knocked out of bounds by Miller for a loss. It'll be 3rd down.
You see 18 back there. It's a race.
Yeah, they second down.
They want to. If you're going to throw and trick us, fine. Throw it and see if you can complete it. But as soon as he initially goes to his left or to his right, it's a race to the corner. Who can get there faster? And the Gator defense clearly dialed in and ready for 18 at quarterback.
Trying to get him involved in different ways, but they haven't come up with a trick play that you can obviously call when you got a couple of quarterbacks in the game.
Blitzing.
2nd and 11.
See him pointing. He's blitzing at that linebacker, 33, David Reese, who's showing blitz.
And he's coming. And immediately flush out. Williams trying to make a play on the run. Flips it into the green grass. Gators want an intentional grounding penalty.
It did not get to the line of scrimmage.
And they'll huddle up and look at it. Jawan Taylor was in hot pursuit of the quarterback. Dallas was in the area, but the ball, as you said, did not get near the line.
Quarterback was outside the pocket. Receivers in the area.
Yeah, he was loosely in the area.
Okay.
But he was just trying to avoid a sack, and he did a good job. You cannot take a sack there.
Wait, is he in the area, or was he outside of the tackle box?
Kind of in the zip code.
I don't know.
3rd and 11. Gamble, you see it back in the game after they checked his hand out. Very marginal field goal range at the moment are the Canes. Williams fires short, catch made. Osborne breaks a tackle. Yet another missed tackle by the Florida defense, and Osborne has set them up just short of the marker. It'll be 4th down.
Yeah, closing in on 5 minutes. Manny Diaz has got to go for this. I'm not going to have probably a better situation than 4th and short. Another missed tackle, but in defense here of Wilson, it's a tough guy to tackle. Ooh, knee is down. They're definitely going to take a look at that.
That would put the ball back at the 30.
That's 7 or 8 yards. That's 7 yards.
Yeah, that would make it 4th and 9. The Canes trying to run a play, and they're not going to get away with it.
That's 7 yards now.
Jack McDonald is the replay official in this Big 12 crew. He buzzed down as Miami was trying to run a 4th and short. If this play is spotted down where we think it will be, right there where the knee went down, it'll be 4th and 9 instead.
4th and 9.
So now does the thinking change? Do you try to take the points in a long field goal attempt?
I don't know. I think you almost have to go for it.
We will find out. Down and 9.
Got to go, Chris. You're thinking about 4:48 to go, 2 timeouts. You may not get the ball back.
True. How huge is the missed chip shot by Baxa earlier in this quarter?
No doubt. Brevin Jordan right over here, tight end.
And now a Florida defensive timeout after they check the Miami formation. Mullen and Grantham know how huge this play is.
Yeah, Grantham wants to know the formation, wants to really know where Brevin Jordan is. That's been the matchup. That's been the tough matchup for them. Do you put on an athletic corner like a Henderson or a Wilson? Do you put a bigger safety on him because he can handle the size of the body of the tight end Jordan? Do you put a fast linebacker on him? So that's going to be the matchup you have to look for.
Reminder that after this game, you want to stay tuned. CFB 150, Football is Us, the college game. It's a beautiful documentary covering the evolution, the great history of this sport, which began back in 1869. Of course, just as popular as ever right now.
I've seen some of the editing of that. I'm really fired up to see that throughout the fall.
We'll see if they look, Kirk, for Brevin Jordan, number 9. Perhaps Jeff Thomas, KJ Osborne, the reliable newcomer. 3 receivers to the left.
And they haven't moved him. It's right there. Looks like they have 2 defenders on him.
One of the defining plays of the game, and the young quarterback pressured, flag down, quarterback down, and the Gators make a stand. The 7th sack tonight. Marlon Dunlap got there, and the timeout paid off.
Sure did. They just pinned their ears and came after him.
Offense number 60. That penalty's declined. Ball goes over on downs.
Look at the edge pressure. And forced him to step up. Zuniga is on the left. Watch him go around the true freshman Nelson. Forces him up, and then that's when the inside of the Florida defense is able to kind of clean it up. Looks like Dunlap's in there. And that play really didn't have a chance. As soon as he hit his last step in the drop, there was already pressure.
I know we both felt that whichever offensive line would be overwhelmed less frequently tonight, that would be the edge. And Miami's has had all kinds of problems. It was kind of expected coming in. How much of it is on Williams holding the ball a long time? And now the Gators 4.5 to bleed out, up by 4, and Franks is thinking about throwing on first down, and it's a pick. A disastrous play. Romeo Finley gets the football back, and the Canes are suddenly in business at the 25. Can you believe it? A flag came out after the play. But what in the world?
Well, there are 2 things. What in the world are they throwing the ball for? And then what? Steve Spurrier, he doesn't know what he just saw. Wow. I can't believe they threw the ball, and then you cannot believe he threw that to 3 white jerseys there. I mean, watch this. I'm shocked with 4.5 to go. Miami has a couple timeouts. Look at the pressure. Good job of getting after him. And throws it right into traffic, right into the arms of waiting Finley.
I mean, that is inconceivable.
After the interception, unsportsmanlike conduct, Miami number 7. A 15-yard penalty being forced from the dead ball spot. First down.
That's a mental mistake by Al Blades. It's going to cost him some field position. But back to Franks, a guy who didn't throw a pick in the last 4 games after he came back from being benched. Has thrown a couple tonight. One on a carom, but that was inconceivable.
And I want to go back to Al Blades, because you can't let your emotions like this get the best of you. And I know it's a rivalry game, and I know it's week 0, but I hope every coach and player that are watching this game are watching and learning about controlling your emotions and showing up and playing with some discipline. This has been ridiculous.
Has that called justified?
Yeah, I mean, it's been the way the game's been going.
Flag down again, and the ball is loose on the ground, and the Gators have it. KJ Osborne came around, lost the football. Well, hold on, because there's still a scrum. Did Miami get it back? They did. How did Florida not recover? It looks like Josh Campbell, offensive lineman, somehow battled back in there.
Yeah, I think John Campbell got it, but Jeremiah Moon, 7, I thought it was right in his hands. Bernard punches it out. Ball's on the ground. You got a bunch of Gator jerseys. There's Moon. He bounced on it, and it came out because Campbell ended up getting it. I thought 7 in blue had the ball, but he didn't.
Had it right in his hands. A chance to perhaps.
Personal foul, chop block, offense number 65 and number 74. That 15-yard penalty be enforced in the previous spot. First down.
So 30 yards in penalties after the interception return by Finley had Miami set up at the 25-yard line. And they have moved back into their own territory. Keep an eye on the center and guard on the chop block.
One goes high, one goes low. Umpire sees it, makes the right call. Got an offensive line that struggled all night in pass protection. A Gator defense that's done a great job of getting into the backfield, and now you got 1st and 20.
Play action, Williams under pressure again, flips it to Dallas, and this time the Gators don't miss the tackle. He is corralled by Jawan Taylor. You know, 4 takeaways tonight. We've seen the new turnover chain out a bunch, but just like last year, Kirk, when they hit their target for takeaways, very few points off turnovers. That was the problem a year ago. They got a total of 3 points. That's right, counting off the 4 takeaways tonight.
That's right. How about the call there by Todd Grantham going more zone instead of pressure and blitzing and playing man? Right call because of the screen. Everybody had their eyes on the ball. Nice play by the middle linebacker, David Reese.
2nd and 26.
Now they're coming.
Pressure again. Williams escaping and hit from behind. Ball is loose. Another scrum on the ground. Picked up. Scooped up by Dallas, who shows his hands, and he actually avoided a disaster and makes something out of the play. Trey Dean knocked it loose. It'll be 3rd and a mile.
Once he got outside, Chris, he does a good job of breaking contain. He's got to be able to make up his mind and just throw the ball away. Get outside, you see a guy coming, throw it away. He's outside of the tackle box, throw it into the 30th row, and you're good. You can live for the next down. Instead of this is scary. This is scary, obviously, with the balls on the ground.
Well, they've got, you'd think, a couple of plays here. The clock is winding down. This is going to be a make-or-break possession for Miami. They cannot count on getting the football back. So Dallas out, Cameron Harris in the game. Got to hurry, and the play clock wind down. Yep, they did not get the timeout. Yet another delay of game, and certainly a game management issue that Manny Diaz is going to want to sort through.
Yeah, he wants the same play. Let's go. Go. Call the play. Let's go. Let's go. He has seen enough.
Well, they have an off week, and then they have a conference opener at North Carolina as Diaz takes on another former boss in Mack Brown, but they have a lot to work on.
That's the beauty of week 2.
14 penalties now. And now Miami is going to have to spend a timeout, which further emphasizes the fact that this has got to be it. They've got a couple plays to get 27 yards. In a wild second half, Miami 6-point lead at the break. There was a 10-point Florida third quarter. This muff by Jeff Thomas, just an enormous play as Van Jefferson recovers the muff, and then Pirine finds the end zone. They finally score on a red zone touchdown. And then Baxa, who had earlier made a nice gain on the 4th down and made a couple of field goals, he misses the chip shot, and then Franks, after a long throw to Hammond, barges in the end zone.
The 2 plays that stood out to me of all those, and one of them we didn't show, was the long throw to Hammond. It just seemed to obviously give them not just a big play, but it really gave them, I think, some momentum. And the drop punt, the muff punt by Jeff Thomas, another one that swung the momentum towards the Florida Gators.
And I corrected that the timeout was taken by Florida, even though the clock was running down. They spent their last timeout, so Miami still has 2 to work with. So got to find a way to get 27 yards in 2 plays.
Yeah, in 2 plays. See, you got to basically get You're looking for that 12 to 15 yard gain here. And if it springs bigger, then great. But you're not throwing a 30-yard pass, in my opinion. You're trying to pick up 15. Try to pick up 15 yards here. Give yourself a chance on 4th down. Crossing route, something dig across the middle at 15.
Pressure again. Sacked again. Relentless Gator pass rush. Zuniga got him again. It has been a monster mismatch up front.
Well, and I think he's gotten to a point where he knows the rhythm of the snap count. Watch how he gets off the ball. He beats the left tackle off the ball. Left tackle Nelson is still sitting in his stance. Zuniga goes by him. And again, it's just a reoccurring thing that we've seen tonight with the quickness of the Gators and the inexperience of the Canes offensive line. Just not. I mean,
Remember, Zion Nelson played high school football a year ago. He didn't see too many guys like Zuniga.
No, you knew that this was going to be a problem. I'm surprised they're not chipping more, just doing something with the back, something.
That was my next question. What can you do to protect the tackles, to emphasize that you got to get the ball out right away? Well, he was doing it early.
Ball out fast, moving the launch point. Where he's athletic enough where you can kind of go half roll left, half roll right, wherever the most pressure is coming from. Mix up kind of a freeze call once in a while in, so he doesn't have the rhythm of the snap count, because right now this whole second half, this defensive line seems to have the rhythm, the timing of the snap down.
You know, both offensive lines, because of the inexperience, were considered weak links. Both were determined to be motivated by that, and Miami will come out of this game if they cannot make this yardage and make up this deficit. They'll know they've played hard. They fought well. They did answer some adversity, but this offensive line, if it came into the game a question mark, it will go out of the game an even bigger question mark as they head into ACC play. 4th and 34. Miami needs a miracle. Gators rush 4. Williams steps up and delivers, and Thomas is wrestled to the ground. Pass interference at the 35-yard line. Can you believe it? Wilson just wrestled him down. It'll be an automatic 1st down. My goodness.
Underthrown ball. Thomas trying to adjust back. The last thing you can do, these are great corners at Florida. The last thing you can do
pass interference
is not
defense number 31.
Have pass interference called on you.
15-yard penalty.
Underthrown ball. I don't know if he did it intentionally, but how many times in college football do we see an underthrown ball where the corner gets caught up because he doesn't find the ball and runs into the wide receiver?
On a 4th and 34, the one penalty you cannot do.
No. And if he catches it, by the way, if he catches it there, he's still 10 yards short. Let him catch it, tackle him, and the game's over.
So the automatic 1st down is the key. It moves the ball to the 49. Minute and a half. Miami still with the timeout. Pass rush again. They flip it short. Dallas is going to be swarm fights. Loses only 2 and the clock is running.
With Dan Enos as an offensive coordinator and with the way their offensive line has struggled, all you're thinking about is screen, screen, screen. That time ready for it.
Zuniga's down on the field, and that will stop the clock. That's tough as a defense mentally. If you think you've got them off the field, no way they're going to make it on 4th and 34, right? But the penalty gives them new life. And now deep in this game on a sticky and humid night, it's the Gators who got to regroup. Field goal does Miami no good, so they got to still get 51 yards. Talked about all the games between these two teams. You know, you think about it, Kirk. The opening night of college football on ESPN was 35 years ago. Florida, Miami, neutral field in Tampa. And Bernie Kosar.
Eddie Brown.
To Eddie Brown, a late touchdown. Earlier in that day, BYU and Robbie Bosco had upset Pitt, had launched their special season, and then it's a way to cap off the very first night of college football on ESPN in prime time. And here we are beginning season 150.
How about that?
So let's see what happened here.
Watch 92. 92 Zuniga, who
he's okay. And now he's not okay. He's going to go down.
Yeah, see this happen from time to time, and I think he looked like he had cramps. That's what they were stretching him for. But Miami's probably okay with him going down.
Good point. They can get a deep breath. Martell in the slot to the left. 2nd and 12. Williams steps up again, flips it short. His arm looked like it was hit as he was trying to get rid of the football. Zachary Carter was pressuring him, and Harley was the receiver. Gators are trying to lobby for the fact that his arm wasn't going forward.
Again, I mean, he's stepping up into the pocket, and even with their best pass rusher, Zuniga, down, you still have others, Zachary Carter that time, that can apply that same pressure.
Clearly incomplete. So now you got 2 plays to get 12 yards.
I'm surprised they're not rolling him out, trying to get him away from that pressure a little bit. Jordan now off to the left, lined up at tight end.
Williams from the pocket. Long throw, and again contact in the secondary, and another penalty. Mike Harley tangled up with Trey Dean. And it'll be another automatic first down on the 3rd down play.
I mean, if Miami ends up winning this game, it's just meant to be. It's 4th and forever.
Yep.
Pass interference. Keep them alive. 3rd down and long. 3rd and with their offensive line and their pass protection. 3rd and 12. Arms wrapped around him. Another first down off of pass interference.
Defense number 21. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
So now, ball 36 yards from the end zone. Exactly 1 minute to play. Four-man rush. Williams with time. Underneath. Catch made. Harley trying to make a man miss. Dives first down inside the 25. Taylor on the tackle.
Stops the clock, obviously, with that first down.
Miami has the
Still
one timeout.
Yep, holding on to that one as long as they can. This is a redshirt freshman quarterback trying to engineer this.
Incredible. A guy has been knocked down. There's a flag on the field. It's just a mistake. They got to pick the thing up. And now Williams, surveying, has time, delivers into traffic, and it's broken up. Looking for Mallory, the tight end. This time, no flag.
Boy, I don't think he saw Jeremiah Moon. In fact, he didn't. Jeremiah Moon is lined up as a defensive end. Drops all the way back 15 yards downfield, and he's lucky he threw it over top of him because he easily could have made that interception.
The guy whose only previous experience was against Savannah State. First start, knocked down 9 times by a ferocious pass rush. Still trying to create a comeback victory. 37 seconds left. Williams has protection, but it's breaking down now, and he cannot escape, and the ball is out again. Yet another scrum. Miami has recovered it.
I used that last time out.
Yeah, Greenard on the pressure one more time, and still Williams is getting up slowly. The clock not quite going off in his head, Kirk.
No.
He's shown toughness, though.
He's looking downfield. The line does a pretty good job here, Chris, of giving him enough time to get the ball downfield, but he doesn't see his check down. He's got a check down right in front of him that if he just would deliver right there, KJ Osborne, who lined up wide and kind of came underneath, was just there at 5 yards. Everybody had cleared deep. There's a good look at him right there. Everybody had cleared deep, and he was so focused downfield to try to make that big play that he missed his check down, held the ball too long.
So 10 sacks. Somehow Miami has recovered both of the times they fumbled here late in the game to keep hope alive. You're right. If they can somehow find the end zone, this game will go down in Miami lore. It'll be remembered forever because it was a first-time starting quarterback overcoming a lot of adversity tonight. But the Gators defense trying to summon all the energy they got left. And one more stop.
Now we're out of timeouts completely on both sides. 3rd and 12. You get sacked now, the game's over. You cannot get sacked.
If the Gators stay aggressive. 3 down linemen look. They rush 4. Williams steps up, throwing for the end zone. And it's another flag in the end zone. He was looking for Brevin Jordan. 2 Gators in coverage. Looks like another pass interference call.
Well, he had a linebacker underneath Miller. Ventrell Miller was running with him, and over the top he's trying to deal with the safety, Taylor. There was some contact right before the ball got to him. It looked like Miller was putting his hands up.
After further discussion, there is no foul on the play.
They pick up the flag in the end zone, and that makes it 4th down and 12. So a conversation there with the officials.
Yeah, there's no face guarding in college football, so no contact there. He gets his hands up, doesn't necessarily make contact, so no foul.
So it comes down to this.
If he made contact there, then there would have been a foul.
Needed a miracle before on 4th down. They need 12 here to keep hope alive. Bobble. Williams spun around and just fires into the ground, and that should do it. Jeremiah Moon came after him. That'll for sure be grounding if they take the penalty. And the Gator pass rush one more time came after the freshman.
Well, how fitting. I mean, it's really how the game should end if you're a Florida fan. The way that defensive line and the way the pressure got to him all night, it's only fitting that, that defensive line ends up determining the winning play. Snap didn't help Williams off to his right, and now it's just a free-for-all. How about the depth that they have in rushing the quarterback? We've seen Bernard all night, Zuniga, and now we see Moon getting his chance to get in there too.
Yep, a lot to look at, a lot to think about. Took the eye off the ball. Dallas was in the area, so no intentional grounding, but he fought hard. But Todd Grantham's defense, aggressive by nature, fast, ferocious, and overmatching Miami's young offensive line in victory formation for Florida. They had to fight hard. Favorites in this game who expected to roll. There were 5 lead changes. Felipe Franks had his ups and downs. They made it difficult on themselves late, but Franks just runs over and punts the football into the crowd to punctuate this victory.
He's a character.
The Gators got what they expected, a victory. And Miami showed up, competed, but coming up short. A lot of mistakes, 14 penalties, and those 10 sacks.